It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Boys is back. Fear not, if you were sitting around last week watching the Saudi show, wondering where we are, we decided to take a break, but we are back. We are here. This is Grapsody. Phil Lindsay. Of course.
You are.
I'm with my co-host, Righteous Reg. What's going on?
I am your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. Yeah, Grapsody boys took a week off. Amazingly, it's been 5 years, I think, since we've done that. Last week when the Saudi show was going on and we were supposed to be potting, I was at a pool in Las Vegas getting my tan on. Yeah, black people can tan. That is a thing. So I'm happy to be back home in Oakland, 1. And 2, I'm happy to be back at Grapsody, baby. We got a lot to talk about. I mean, there's been a gazillion things going on. It's been a wild, wild, wild week, to say the least. Wouldn't you say, Phil?
Yeah. It was a peaceful last Saturday. I got up early and went for a walk.
Oh, look at that.
And I went to go meet my dad, and then came back and watched King and Queen of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's always weird when we don't pod because I'm used to like doing all this stuff the night before to prepare, like trying to watch stuff that if I miss something and getting up in the morning and watching stuff or taking notes. But not having a podcast to do, I was just like, oh, I don't have anything to do. And it was really nice out. So I was like, oh, I guess I'm just going for a walk.
Oh, my God. That's how you know we're getting old, because that's a nice luxury in our life. Like, oh, it's nice outside. I'll go for a walk, because that legit during the week is a luxury for me. I'm like, oh, it's a great day outside. I'm going to go for a walk, clear my mind, get away from the other crazy ass world that's going on. So, yeah, it's great. Had a really, really great time in Las Vegas. Saw a lot of the homies out there. It wasn't as hot as I expected. That was great. Watched some great wrestling. Saw the homie Will Washington. Shout out to Will Washington and his fam. Yeah, so it's been a lot, Phil, man. Traveling places, driving. I didn't plan on driving, but time and things end up how they end. So you end up on the road, and it's happy to be back in Oakland because there was a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the other funny part. While I was in the midst of a walk, I was sitting at a park, and Cresta sent me a message. She was like, "Hey man, shoot me a link." I was like, "We're not recording." And she was just like, "Oh, I was up early, and I thought like I was just gonna hop on a pod." I was like, "No, we're not podding."
Damn. I didn't know Cresta was gonna be in the mix. Shout out to Cresta. I was thinking, man, it's been a while since Cresta's been back too, so it's funny that she was trying to get on last week.
Yeah. Yeah. I said, nope, not potting. Saudi show. Reg is out of town. And yeah, so no show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I suppose we still could have done a show, but we could have used a day off. We don't take no days off.
No days off, exactly. I ended up doing a Double or Nothing review. You did a Double or Nothing review. Like, we don't.
I still did a podcast that day. I still did a Double or Nothing review with the homie DS from Ring the Bell.
Yep.
Yeah, so there were places to find me somewhere.
You can always find your boys on Grapsody. We did ask Grapsody a couple days ago, so you didn't miss us too much. Regardless, don't fret. Your boys are back. It's Saturday morning. I'm very excited. Basketball, the finals are official, and I don't know how I feel about it, Phil. I don't know how I feel.
I am super excited about the potential of the Kyrie Revenge Tour, him going back to Boston and potentially winning a championship. That story is really, really great to me. If you know, you know, that was his first stop after he left Cleveland, the city he was drafted to. And there was a lot of drama when he left because there was a lot of people that were thinking that he wanted to go somewhere and prove that he could be the man on a team and win a championship without LeBron James. Long story less long, the time in Boston ended up being a disaster. He left from Boston and went to Brooklyn and tried to make a super team with Kevin Durant. That ended up being a disaster as well.
Didn't work either.
Then that turned into, you know, the tail end of that. He got into some internet debacles because of some of his outspoken behavior, some stuff that we don't need to get into. But needless to say, the end of his time in Brooklyn did not go well, and he ended up being talked about almost every week on every sports program and on the internet.
I forgot that he could play basketball. Honestly, it was just
because
like,
it was all just controversy. This led to somebody being in my DMs like threatening to fight me because I was like, this guy needs to shut up and dribble. So
I remember that.
It's good to see him playing well. It's good to see that the public perception for him has come around. And he played really well in that series. Luka played very well. Luka was getting his shit off. Love it. Boy, how the tables have turned. Last series, young Ant-Man was running around, balling out, talking his trash. And here we are. Luka's balling out, talking trash to Rudy Gobert on the way out. I was very confused watching this series because Minnesota looked like a totally different team.
I don't know who that was.
Yeah, by game 4, they looked totally defeated. They ended up winning game 4, but I was like, this series is over. It's very clearly over.
Totally. They were tired.
Yeah, I just don't know what happened. I have to assume you beat the defending champions. You gotta be sky high, right? Your confidence has to be through the roof. And maybe they thought like that was enough. That was their They was their highlight of the year. And after that, they were just gassed because
I mean, Dallas also came to ball like Kyrie is known for having handles, and I've seen people talk about it so many years, but like this guy is He's an and one basketball player, but that can also shoot and that can also do everything else. It's insane.
Yeah, my dad was talking to me about it last weekend, and he was saying, you know, his mentor is, right? And when you tie that to how he plays, it's like, his mentor is Rob Strickland. And you know, if you watch Rob Strickland play, he was razzle dazzle, great ball handler, great finisher,
a street baller essentially. It's in the NBA.
Yeah, but Kyrie's an elite shot maker, and you're playing with another guy that. Following the spirit of Dirk Nowitzki, is also a shot maker.
Don't let them win a championship because Luka's I don't know what Luka's gonna do.
Yeah, man, he was out there. He was definitely out there talking his talk. I loved it. I personally wanted to see Minnesota get to the finals, but we're here now. I love the idea of Kyrie going to Boston and getting all the heat in the world because Boston fans hate this man. I was just talking about it on Ask Grapsody. When I was in Philadelphia, I saw the buddy Liam Crowley from Comic Book in the box, and he was talking about him, and he was talking about how much he does not like him. Noel Foley also was there, also from Boston, also hates Kyrie Irving. So this is going to be very interesting. He is going to get booed out of the building, and I can't wait to see how he performs in front of that hostile crowd. Just the idea of him winning a ring and bringing things full circle there in Boston.
That'd be crazy.
That's a very good story. Then on the other end, I feel like the Celtics haven't really been tested yet.
No.
They got an easy team in the first round, then got an injured team in the next round, then got an injured Indiana team in the conference finals.
They cruised.
Yeah, so they kind of cruised to the finals, but hey, you know, good for them. No excuses. They're heading to their second finals appearance as this iteration of the team. Shout out to Jaylen Brown, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Yeah. I saw a thread about how smart he is, which is crazy. Like If you haven't read it, it's crazy. Like all of the stuff that he's done outside of basketball, this guy's just happens to be a genius and like a all-star basketball player.
Anytime those super smart guys are really good basketball players, it's always so interesting because like like he's using like science for his plays. Like he's playing on a way different level than anybody else is, and it shows, man. And we've talked a lot about all these other teams and kind of how Boston for the whole season we've been like we don't really believe in them, but they have been balling. We can't like, and it's not their fault that it's not their fault that the other teams were injured and stuff. But in the finals, I can't still.
I still
it's going to be a surprise if they win, honestly.
Yeah, I still don't believe them. And I say all the time, the closer Kyrie gets to that big game, the more dangerous he gets, man.
Facts.
We watched him in that Cleveland run. Once he got to the finals, he turned into a different guy.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason that LeBron won that ring and came back from down 3-1. Yeah, he's X Factor. So if he gets hot, man.
I kind of feel like this Boston is going to motivate him, all this hate. And I'm like they think they're going to get him, but it's going to turn around on him.
You think he's going to bring the Sage out again?
I think so. Yeah.
Yo, he comes back to TD Garden with the Sage, man.
He definitely might see Walk to Not Like Us on their logo this time.
Bro, the idea of him stomping on the logo again after winning, this could turn into some all-time great finals basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking forward to it. We also got WNBA basketball today. Chicago Sky are playing the Indiana Fever for the first time this season. If you keep up with WNBA or any of the news around it, top player coming in this year in the draft, Caitlin Clark, will be playing the two players that stopped her from winning an NCAA championship.
Yes, sir.
And Angel Reese and Camila Cardoza. I don't know how I managed to get lucky enough for both of those players to play for Chicago. Really excited about that game. Probably not going to be able to see it because I think it's coming on now, as a matter of fact.
Oh, shit.
Because it's an early game. But really excited for how big that matchup has turned out to be. It's in Indiana this time, but when it's here, I'm going to try and go to that game.
Breakfast ass games coming on at 9:30 a.m. That's crazy. No, shout out to all those ladies. We've talked about it a couple times on here. The WNBA is super, super hot. Every day I hear some kind of story attached to either one of the players or some kind of sponsorship deals that are happening. Like it seems like things are going in the right direction. And there's been a couple of times throughout the years where this has happened, but this feels different and I'm super excited about it. The game today, I'm sure, is going to do numbers. It's Saturday. It's those women playing. It's like something's gonna happen. That's really dope.
Yeah, I believe this is Camila Cardoza's first game because she started the year injured. So last time I checked, she was scheduled to play today. Also, shout out to Leah Boston, also Indiana Fever player. I think it's dope how much buzz there is about women's basketball right now, and just how hyped people are for the WNBA. It feels like every time I get on Twitter, there are pictures of one of these women going to the game, whether it be Kelsey Plum or like Cameron Brink. The fact that like all of these names are like household names already is really cool.
Nah, you saw Kelsey Plum's ex's music video?
No, I did not.
Yeah, bro did a diss track response to her, and there's like a fake Kelsey Plum in there. It's weird.
We're not trying to hear that, bro.
It's weird because he's like a football player. Like, what are you doing, dude? Get on the squad. Like, I don't know what's going on. It's weird.
That's
super weird.
We're not trying to hear that. We're not trying to hear that, man. Kelsey just came out with the cigar brand. She's out here chilling. Probably on her way to another WNBA finals, possibly, because Las Vegas Ace are still looking like a great team. Ain't nobody trying to hear that, bro.
Not at all. He's getting his shit off though for some reason.
Yeah. Speaking of football, the Chicago Bears will be the subject of this year's Hard Knocks. I don't really watch Hard Knocks. I have not been a football fan in quite some time, but that is exciting that Chicago Bears are going to be on HBO Max coming soon. Season starting soon. I don't have high hopes for the Chicago Bears because I've learned my lesson.
Is this show? Could the show potentially get your hopes higher, or is it just like some entertainment?
I've learned my lesson. I've been a lifelong Chicago Bears fan.
Definitely.
And at one point, I just had to get off the bandwagon because it just got tired of watching them lose every year, man.
It's crazy because
it's
like
painful.
As a baby, like one of the greatest football teams of all time were happening, and then never again.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the greatest football teams of all time, greatest defensive teams ever, Super Bowl shuffle, sweetness, all of these great things were happening the year I was born, and I did not witness any of it. But my dad did, and he talks about how great the Bears are. That Bears team was all the time. Huge homer, huge football fan, and I'm just like, Dad, I can't get as excited as you are. I know, but I can't get as excited.
I can't be too upset for you because you did live through Jordan. So, you know, they gave you something. Like, it wasn't like you were just iced out that whole time. Like, you did live through quite possibly the greatest basketball player of all time, balling.
Yeah, not just quite possibly. The GOAT, the greatest player of all time.
It's up for debate, all right, Phil.
Greatest basketball team of all time in 1996. Yeah, not debatable.
It is debatable. I don't think so either. But, you know, somebody could debate it. Like, you could debate Kobe or LeBron, I think. I know you won't debate LeBron, but you can.
I mean, I think Kobe and Bron are both close, but for me personally, there's only one GOAT, and that's, you know, the two guys you mentioned. One had pandered his whole game after that guy.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And then the other guy tries to act like he didn't pattern his career off of him, but he wears his number. Yeah. He also tried to revive his movie franchise.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
Yeah. Both of those guys are trying to be that guy, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody, you know, he told you himself he's chasing the GOAT from Chicago. And so haven't quite caught up, man. Sorry.
He never will. Would have to had at this point already. And like, will he ever win a championship again, or is it just to get to a son at this point, right?
Can I answer that question honestly for myself?
Yes.
Nah, them boys is cooked. They not winning another championship.
No way, 0%.
Them guys is cooked, man. They're not winning another championship. This guy is heading to be 40 years old, man. It's over.
It's over.
It's over, man.
A Hall of Fame career, though. Like, he could
all-time great career, but
go home tonight and be like, I did it, you guys.
Lakers are cooked, buddy. JJ Redick, that ain't enough to save y'all, buddy.
They always think it's gonna be like one little factor, like if we get a new head coach or if we get some player to. No, dude, you need a whole lot more than this.
No, nah. I heard all this stuff last season. We had the best offseason. We brought in Austin Reeves. We got in this guy. What happened again? They got cooked again by them Denver Nuggets, man. I ain't trying to hear that. They're not winning nothing.
It's a shame, but it's also not a shame. You know? Like, sometimes I'm happy that it's like, it feels like a new regime in general for the NBA. Like, it's young. It's going to be like young players or new people on top getting established. Like, I fucks with LeBron and Curry and KD and all those guys, but like, it's a new regime, brothers.
Yeah. We got a lot of great hip hop news coming out this week. I think Beef Talk was the thing for weeks. We're still getting the remnants of Beef Talk. There's still Kendrick stuff lingering. The word is that he's coming with an album soon.
Yeah.
When that album drops, it's going to be super hot. All of his big records from this year are still in the top 100. 1 million units sold on Euphoria, I believe. Not Like Us has hit 1 million. But thankfully, there's still a lot of great music coming out. I am tempted to say 2024 has been the best year for hip hop in a long time. I feel like the year that it turned 50, not as much happened other than people just celebrating that it turned 50. But this year, man, it's been real eventful. All of the big artists are coming out and dropping music. We got a really good Vince Staples album last week. Have not checked that out. It's very good. The Common record that came out with Pete Rock is also very good. Lupe is back on these streets, dropping music. First single is really good.
A lot of people still love that Schoolboy Q album. When I see people talk about like the year, they're like, "That's Schoolboy Q. That's Schoolboy Q."
Yeah. We got one of the most divisive guys in hip hop dropping a record as well this week.
Our friend Eloquent with the super chat says, that new Eminem song, A Family Pack of Ass.
Yeah, listen, man. Do I think it's terrible? I don't think it's terrible. It's that bag that Eminem gets into that I'm not really the biggest fan of. Once he starts doing like the jokey, controversial raps over like the Scooby-Doo beats, not really my bag, bro.
Over the Scooby-Doo beats.
Not really for me. And that's definitely what this was. Like,
totally.
There was a lot of nostalgia around it. I think the video for it is dope. Like, I think the concept of the video is cool, of the old Slim Shady coming through the portal like Thanos, and then, you know, him doing the entire rap boy thing he did out of his old video, and all the ties back to that. I think all of that is cool, but the song is not really for me. Like, it's fine, but that's not something I'm gonna run to listen to. People are upset at him for the Meg bar. People are upset at him for some of these other trash bars in here and his dad jokes, but I think this is just him doing what he always does. And so I was surprised that people took the bait on this and got so upset, because I was like, this is what he always does. He kind of trolls and says something controversial. But yeah, hip hop is back. This is how we know hip hop is back, because he's making the cartoonish Slim Shady songs again, riling people up. It feels like 2002 again.
Yeah, hip hop is back, because here come Eminem to try to kill it. I don't know what the hell this guy is thinking. No, listen. There's this new thing, because I was thinking about it with J. Cole recently, because J. Cole keeps putting out these new verses, and people don't like them. That new verse that he put up, the grippy verse. That's exactly what we're talking about. People did not like this grippy verse. It started to become a meme. People are on TikTok making a joke out of it. And then J. Cole fans are like, oh, this is all a bit. He has an album coming out. He's doing this fall off thing. That's for a bit. And I'm like, what kind of rollout is I'm going to do a bunch of terrible raps that people don't like so they get excited for my album? That sounds stupid to me. That doesn't make sense. You're one of the best rappers in the world. Fucking rap, dude. You don't need to do a bit of doing a terrible record to try to get to your album, whatever. So Eminem, same thing. It feels like the album's called The Death of Slim Shady. He's trying to pay tribute to himself. I get it. But also I don't get it, dude. That we've been waiting for you to do something different for so long. Like, every time I talk about Eminem, I'm like, yeah, I get it. He is what people say he is, but like, come with something new, dude.
I see what you did. I see what you did there.
What'd I do?
I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am? In the paper, the news, every day I am.
I did not mean to do that. He's The Death of Slim Shady is the new album, so he's like gonna kill Slim Shady. So what do? You show old Slim Shady, classic Slim Shady, the part that people like. You're doing the old nostalgia thing of dissing famous celebrities. It's a colorful video, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit, dude. That shit was in 2002, man. I don't want to see this anymore. Listen, Eminem, I've been waiting for him to like
the super chat on the screen.
I've been waiting for him. I've been waiting for him to like, you've been standing next to Alchemist for the last legit like 15 years, and you won't get a fucking beat pack from him. I want to stab you.
Nah, bro, he wants
Alchemist is in the video. I'm like, dude, get a fucking beat pack from him. What are you doing? He's been doing this rap on his beats, or that I think it's Alex the Kid beats that sound exactly like him, and I'm like, I don't know. We need to have a real conversation about this guy, because he hasn't put out a real hit in like 14 years, maybe like the Rihanna shit. I think that was in 2010.
I mean, that rap god thing.
I said a hit. Crazy. I said a hit, Phil.
God, that rap god thing was everywhere. It went viral. People were trying to do the little challenge.
It was one of the worst raps I've ever heard in my life.
Really?
Honestly, terrible.
I don't know about all that.
That beat was terrible. That rapidy rap.
Hit him with the venom.
What are you talking about, dude? Shut up. And beyond that, the reason that it's the worst song of all time is because it inspired a bunch of god awful rappers. Now all these white rappers come on, this is the hardest rap. No, it's not the hardest rap I ever heard. It's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree that Rap God was bad.
Terrible song.
I don't agree with that, but you know, it is what it is. I get what he's doing here. I think that I don't think this is retread so much as he's setting up a story for the album. I think the album is because this guy's 50 years old. I don't think that he just went out of his way to go, hey, I'm about to go and do this thing that I did over 20 years ago for nostalgia purposes. I think he's getting into that bag and making this kind of song again for people that like that. But I think it's kind of like the last hurrah for this character. That's what I see this as.
But we have that. Like all of those Eminem fans can just go play without me. Like I'm just like thinking of like the part of your career that's like a bunch of fans like, but wasn't really that great of raps. Why would you go back to that? That'd be like Hove coming out with a new album and like the first single is inspired by Sunshine, and we'd be like, no, I don't want that shit, dude. Put some heat on.
But I mean, Hove did make an album towards his 50s that was like the death of the Jay-Z persona. He put out a song called Death of Jay-Z. And
that shit was great. Music, yeah. Amazing.
I mean, everybody don't agree with that. Some people hate it 444.
I know, but I guess that's where I'm landing at, is that's what I wanted from Eminem. I don't want this fucking rap god nostalgia bullshit. I want some, this is where I'm at in my life. I'm doing this now. I'm mature. I rap on better fucking production. I'm not a fucking clown. Like, what is this?
Well, I mean, I think the whole premise of the song is what would Slim Shady be like today, and like
that's what he would be like.
The last verse of him is him trying to merge and go like, this is me trying to rap in that style now as a dad that, you know, my kid is like 28 years old and just got married and all this other stuff, and it don't quite hit the same. I think that's the takeaway from all of it. But again, I think it's going somewhere. I don't think he's just putting it out there just to do it. I think he's going to tell a story with the album. But you know, don't get me in defense mode for him, because I'm not a big Eminem.
When I listen to that album, that I'm gonna have to listen to that song. Is all I'm saying, and I'm gonna skip it 100%.
Are you gonna listen to this album though?
No, but I'm
exactly.
Saying,
this isn't for you. This isn't for you. Like his fans that want to hear this. Like I saw a lot of his fans on the timeline that loved it.
They put their capes on. They were capping. Like that, he's lying to you guys.
Yeah, Jim, that Chance Primo record is hard as well.
Let me take the super chat off. I just thought it'd be funny for the bit for the whole time.
But yeah, we've got a lot of great music coming out. If Eminem is for you, I saw a lot of people that liked it. Y'all goat. LeBron was saying how much he loved it. I saw Soraya come out and say Slim Shady's back. You know, the whites were happy, man.
I didn't want to say it, but I wanted to say it.
The whites were happy.
They were so happy. Yo, they're like, our dog, he's back. Rap is back. I'm like, rap is
hey man, it's not really for me, but you know, I didn't think it was terrible. I thought people kind of overreacted a little bit, but
you think I'm overreacting, Phil?
A tad bit, but I also think that, you know, that's what this is for, to rile people up.
I thought the people getting offended by his bars and that stuff was dumb. I'm like, yeah, you guys are really falling right into his trap. Speaking of hip hop, did you see you saw the homegirl Saweetie at what is it, Sukeban?
Yeah, I thought that was crazy too. He was at the Sukeban show. Shout out to Cass. He was on commentary with Renee. Mm-hmm. No, that's dope. I think the more rappers we see coming to shows, it just shows again, man. Wrestling's back, man. Wrestling is cool again. It's pop culture again. And I think it's cool that we're seeing so many female rappers that are interested in being attached to wrestling. I mean, I know we've seen stuff with Meg. Meg hasn't showed up anywhere, but you know, I think it's dope. I guess that's one of the biggest stories of the week as well, that, you know, female rapper pulled up to another wrestling show.
There you go. That's the thing. I think that's kind of the craziest thing with the Sweetie thing, is like, it wasn't WWE. It's not like a big, it's not the biggest thing in town. Like you would expect her to see her there, but she pulled up to like Japanese independent women's wrestling promotion, and that's like, yo, this is kind of crazy. And it does show that wrestling is kind of everywhere, But yeah, that was kind of off the heels of, I don't know if she saw this, if she saw Sexxy Red on NXT and was like, I'm trying to get in the game too, or if these things were connected. But yeah, Sexxy Red also notoriously this week made her debut on NXT. I think it was only a matter of time, Phil. Like the wrestlers, and she had been doing the Shawn Michaels thing. Like she had been connected to NXT for a few months now, it feels like.
Yeah, NXT has been kind of the brand that it embraces hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
When 2.0 started, they had the Wale theme song. Wale's been over there. He walked the Street Profits down to the ring.
Yep.
West Side Gun has been on the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's been kind of the show to bring rappers in. So I think that's cool. I think it's cool that Sexxy Red came in. It looked like she had a good time.
Yeah.
That's always kind of my thing when they have special guests on any wrestling show, because we went through the whole guest host phase on Raw, right? And it looked like, hey, here's this famous person hosting the show. Let's do a bit based around them, and it was like, this is not good.
It never felt right. It's like they got the famous person in their own locker room. They bring them,
Yeah.
like it didn't feel like they were interacting with the rest of the show.
It didn't feel genuine.
Mhm.
This felt more like somebody that was a fan of wrestling at one point, and she actually wanted to come and be a part of the product and have fun. And I
Right.
thought that alone about it was dope. I can't say that I'm like the biggest Sexxy Red fan in the world. I don't really listen to her music, but I'm also not the ideal audience for her music.
Totally.
And so, she came over, came out and was a part of the debut of the women's North American title. I think that in itself was cool.
That's sick.
I other than the fact that she had fun, I think the best thing about this was that they capitalized on this really, really well.
They did.
It wasn't just like, hey, tune in this week to see Sexxy Red on NXT. They also had some really good surprises.
Mhm.
They also, teased to their next pay-per-view and built to it really well based off of her being there. And that was smart. I give credit where it's due. That was really smart. We got Jordan Grace returning to WWE. Of course, she debuted earlier this year in the Royal Rumble, but she is officially going to be Roxanne's next challenger at Battleground. I think that's really great for Jordan. I think that's really great for TNA. Some of the stuff around TNA is a little distressing.
Yeah, we got to get into that.
But I think that just this alone, the partnership and Jordan coming in and getting more eyes on her is really, really cool. Couldn't happen to a better wrestler for that company, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's dope for Roxanne as well, that there's a big match, because I was getting a little bit worried. I don't watch NXT consistently, but I was just kind of like, who are they building up for a next challenger? Where are they going with this? And they haven't really built anybody up, but at least we're getting a star-studded match out of this. I think that's great for both women involved. And then we got Ethan Page making his debut towards the end of the show.
There was a lot happening.
To attack Trick Williams. And it looks like he is staking his claim to a shot at the NXT championship. I think that's really dope for Ethan Page. I was a fan of him when he was with TNA. When he went to AEW, I was like, great for him. This is gonna do good things for him. He's on a bigger stage. Didn't really pan out the way I wanted. I still feel like they should have done more with him. But I'm really happy that he got another spot somewhere. And the reaction he got that night is good. That just goes to show that his time at AEW wasn't for naught, because more people know who he is.
Yeah, I think exactly what you're saying is what happened. Like they capitalized so great off of this, Phil. I think if like there were people tuning in just off of backs of Sexxy Red were being there, like they got to really, like, if this is what they tuned in for, like that's a good sign for NXT. Like, yo, NXT got some surprises. They had some hot matches. Like it feels like a refreshed brand. It doesn't feel like the limbo that they were kind of in for a while. Like there's some new prospects on the line, and I think everything is really great. Jordan Grace kind of being back, and like I said during Royal Rumble, like she's so steps above everyone else that she ups everyone's game. Roxanne, I think is the perfect opponent for her over there, because she's young, she's new, but she's like been in the game for a couple years now and can go as hard as Jordan can. I think that's a great thing for that Battleground pay-per-view. I think that's what it's called. I thought it was super interesting how kind of both on the women's and the men's division, they're bringing in a kind of new opponent for them. Like they didn't really establish a contender on either side because like Ethan Page is kind of the new contender. I guess Gnome's in there too. And then Jordan's a totally out of the blue person too. So I'm like, it's a good sign, but it's also like, well, you need to build contenders of people there because like that's kind of how I felt when they had the face off with AEW earlier this year. It was like, well, you don't want people to tune into a show that's gonna be a bunch of people that aren't gonna be there when they're there for a regular thing. So, like, if I'm watching the show and I want to see Jordan Grace, I'm not going to in 6 months when she's just in TNA or whatever this Ethan Page thing. I think it's a work. Like, he's going to be there, but like they're saying, like he's not one of those people. So I think that's the one thing that I think they still need to do is they have to establish some more contenders for their championships. But I think beyond that, everything is really good if you're a big NXT fan.
Yeah. Yeah. What a wild night. Not just I did not think we would go from the crowd chanting "Get 'em sexy" to later chanting TNA. I was like, wow, this is a wild episode.
Get him sexy. I'm surprised Triple H wasn't in there to hand somebody a belt. That's kind of crazy. She was it's crazy seeing we went through so long in WWE of them bringing in rappers or people, but they're like 10 years past their prime or like not like we're like, yeah, cool, you brought them in, but it would have been great at a different time. Like seeing like brand new established people that are still hot, that have songs on the charts, being excited about rest. Like she was really excited to be there. And like, she got into a little, that little pull apart she had with the belt. I was on the floor.
Yeah, no, that and that like that above shot that they did of her twerking and doing the split. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Like, what is this?
Yo, Booker on commentary losing his mind the whole time. Yeah.
Booker was hype. yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, Booker said her and Lola should have a twerk off. I'm like, Booker, you might need to relax.
I do think that your wife can like tune in and hear this audio. Booker. Like
she
I think
can hear this 1,000%.
Yeah, I think yeah. But yeah, I thought that was cool. I having the full circle moment of her in the backseat of that car singing HBK's theme from earlier this year and then doing it again with HBK next to her.
It's
just wild times, man. When I saw that night, I was like, what a weird timeline we're in, man.
I can't believe that we like remember initially when that video came out and everybody's like, oh, Sexxy Red's a big wrestling fan. It's like, oh yeah, okay. I didn't know that was gonna lead to her being on NXT and then doing the video with Shawn Michaels. That's Shawn Michaels. Like many consider this guy to be the greatest of all time. Like he's in my top 5. He's in my top 3. And he's just like that guy now. Bald HBK.
Bro, him changing his profile picture to him with the chef outfit on.
I'm saying
all of this, just everything that happened that night. I was like, where are we? What's going on right now? Like, it's insane. But yo, man, good for them, man. I think that was great for NXT. A great look for them. Sexxy Red will be coming back to host Battleground in Las Vegas. Man, I hope I hope they continue to do things like this. I do kind of agree with you though that if this is the developmental brand, you've got to keep building other people.
You got to develop.
Like Trick is there. Trick is white hot. But you got to, start building them some contenders. And the same thing for Roxanne. You got to build her up some contenders. You kind of started. I was kind of confused as to why they moved like Beat Priestley so soon. That was somebody that I thought you could have kept around the title picture.
Yeah, they didn't establish her enough on NXT, I thought.
Yeah.
But she's so good, though, it makes sense that she would be up there because she can work right now. Like, she doesn't need development, but for that brand, I think it would have worked.
Yeah. Wild week. Sure, we have some super chats about Sexxy Red or any of the happenings on NXT. If not, make sure to send us your super chats. You can also send us your humper chats at humperchats.com/Fightful.
Yeah, let's get into the super chat. Eugene Solis became a new member. Thanks, Eugene. Appreciate you for being here. Our homie Coffee Black says Charlotte Flair is balling out on the LA Sparks right now.
No, the funniest joke I've seen about Cameron Brink is somebody said it's like somebody had like a Cameron Diaz factory and somebody changed the setting to Kevin Durant.
Yeah, man. That is so funny, dude. Our friend Van Twinblade says, y'all remember Batman Beyond? You ever go back and watch it? That show was fucked up and I loved it.
I love Batman Beyond. There's a wrestler theme that sounds very much like the theme to Batman Beyond. Every time I hear it, I can't unhear it. I'm just like, this sounds like Batman Beyond's theme song.
It's probably on purpose.
It might be. But yeah, man, classic. Terry McGinnis is a GOAT. The epilogue episode they had on the Justice League cartoon where he found out that Terry McGinnis is actually Bruce's son. So cool.
I've never seen it. Meet Norma says, is Kyrie about to be the finals MVP?
Depends on how he plays. I gotta imagine he's going into this with a big chip on his shoulders. He's going into this with a lot to prove.
Yep.
And so I think he's gonna play very well. There's a real strong chance that he could be the best player in the series.
Like if Dallas wins, he'll be the MVP, I feel. It's kind of depending on how he plays, exactly like Phil's saying. Leonard Aarons III says, maybe WWE should hire the writers of the NBA script. Boston, Dallas is high drama with Kyrie coming back. Do the Jays finish their story? 2001 called and they want their faux retirement angle back.
Yeah, I thought the stuff from last night on SmackDown was good.
Mm-hmm.
I just am glad that AJ is back to being in main storylines.
Yep. It's crazy that for a while there, they just were like, oh, and AJ Styles here. I'm like, no, AJ Styles is here. That's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. We saw with the match at Cody that like this guy's still a big match wrestler no matter what. And if you have AJ Styles that can still do AJ Styles things, he should be in the main event.
Yeah, I like that they're keeping the stuff going with him and Cody because that is a big matchup. That was a dream matchup coming this year, and I thought
it's not a one-off.
Yeah, they had a very good match at Backlash, but that felt like something that they can run back and do some more story stuff with because they didn't really do any of that going into the match. They didn't even really scratch the surface. They just went straight to the match. And so I feel like there's more you can do. There's so much history that you can play off, and I thought doing a retirement angle was a smart idea. Because I proposed going into this that the big match should be title versus career. And maybe they're going to do that. I can't see them really doing it now, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
That kind of would have been a smart thing to do before this angle last night. But I thought the angle last night, because there were a lot of people that bit and that were like, is AJ Styles really retiring tonight? And like, if you can even get that moment, like, I think it's worth it. And he created another thing, got the blue jacket thing, the Mark Henry tribute. I think it worked.
Yeah, when I seen him with the Easter colors on, I was like, he ain't going nowhere.
So could there be a world where they do a switch, a title switch, like AJ gets it for a little bit and gets it back to Cody?
I don't think so, because I think that it's pretty clear that although I'm enjoying this feud, that it still feels like this is a filler feud till we can get back to Roman. Like, I think that we'll get into this with some of the King and Queen of Reign stuff, but it's very clear right now that some of the stuff they're doing on TV is all a filler feuds until they're ready to do the SummerSlam feuds. And I don't think this AJ feud is the SummerSlam feud.
That's unfortunate. I want them to, because this isn't this is a lifelong WWE wrestling in general thing of figuring out the in-betweens of the big shows. And like, they still haven't like really figured out how to sell us on opponents coming up. Cause like nobody believes that anybody's going to lose their championships going into SummerSlam. And I think they need to work on changing that.
Yeah. I would wonder when they change the stipulation for King and Queen of the Ring that they would get the title match, because it doesn't seem like that was the plan going into the pay-per-view.
No, I think like we would have known a lot more about it instead of like the instant like, and this is gonna be the winner gets a title match type thing. It felt kind of sudden.
Yeah.
And then Van Twinblade says, headline from CBS, Caitlin Clark says opponents get away with things against her. I feel like I'm getting hammered. Apparently shit went down. Yeah, no, they be beating Caitlin Clark's ass, I think.
Which I mean, she should have been prepared for that. She's got a big target on her back. She was the top of this draft class, one of the best collegiate players ever. And just based on the way she plays, like how often do we hear in the old NBA, Steph Curry wouldn't be able to do that. We're not going to just let you shoot. We're going to beat you up. And,
all the time. Every time one of those guys does a podcast, that's the first thing they say.
Yeah, so I figured that's what's happening with Caitlin Clark. It's like, we're not going to just let you come out here and do the step back threes on us and make us look stupid. No, we're going to make it hard for you to get open shots. We're going to make it hard for you to score as much as possible.
She was like, the referees be calling for fouls. I won't be getting beat up. It'll be fine. I'll just step over it. No, them women are like, not in this house.
Not playing with you. And the Fever are just not really good yet. Like that's the thing. You were the number one pick for a reason, because that team's just not good yet.
Yeah, that's the gift and the curse with being the best is like, if you're the best in college, you might get picked to the worst team in the NBA. That's kind of how this works.
Yeah. Yeah. When you were Michael Jordan, you came and traveled with a cocaine circus. One of the funniest lines from that documentary. Right,
what a life, man. Anthony Cruz says, who is next to jump to AEW and vice versa go to WWE? Also, do you guys think Dynamite is going to hit 3 hours?
I've been worried about this 3 hour thing for a while. I hope that it doesn't happen. I don't want 3 hours of Dynamite.
Not interested.
Who's next to jump to AEW? I don't know.
Is there anything to this contract stuff? Because again, we talked about it on Ask Grapsody, and legit every day since then, I've woken up to this person contract is about to run out in WWE, and it feels like it could be a coincidence, but it's a lot.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a good place to get into some of that, because we do got a lot of free agency news as we speak. Becky Lynch is a free agent. Her contract is up, and she is officially a free agent. They kind of played this up on the pay-per-view and on Raw this week of her, losing the title. And, she said some things in backstage segments that made it seem like this was her last hurrah. I don't really buy it. I think she's kind of working.
Yeah.
But she's supposed to take some time off. That is word from Dave Miggity Meltzer. That she's going to take an extended time off. And I don't know what that means. That could be what she told them. If you remember, when Jon Moxley, after he finished his contract, was like, I'm just going to take some time off and I'm not going to wrestle. Next thing we know, he showed up in New Japan and AEW. So that could be just what she told her. But it's just other things like Rollins re-signed. And I don't think Rollins would have re-signed if he thought there was any inkling that Becky wasn't coming back.
I can't feel like he would. Like if she was like, oh, I'm leaving. I mean, possibly he could be like, I'm gonna do my own thing over here, but it just felt like they would coordinate a little bit better than that. I can't see Becky Lynch being not in WWE. I mean, like you said, crazier things have happened, but like the way on her way out, she was on top. You know what I mean? Like it's way different than the Jon Moxley thing. It's way different than any other situation ever. Like, they're like, yo, no, you're the queen here. We love you. We'll give you whatever you want.
She was just champion a week ago.
Right.
And so, it's way different than the Moxley situation. But it is a curious thing. Like, I do think that there's some negotiations happening.
Right.
There's a very good chance that she could end up coming back and being the highest paid women's wrestler in this industry.
Yep.
I think that's one of the coolest things about everything that's going on, that some of these female stars have forced them to change the way they talk about women's wrestling, and have forced you to pay them the money. You gotta show them the bag. And so,
show me the money. That's the craziest thing about this, though, Phil. What you said. She's a free agent. That means she can talk to anyone.
Yes.
That anybody in the world could be like, "Hey, Becky Lynch, do you like money?" And you know that everybody in the world is, because she's Becky Lynch. Like when she gets that contract, she earned it like a motherfucker. Like it's not just like, hey, I'm this person. Like, no, I was the number one person in your company, man or woman. Like she is on a way bigger level than so many other people. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Like I said, I can't really see her moving on to somewhere else, but like crazier things have happened. Could you imagine? Let's imagine for a second, Phil, Becky Lynch in AEW. How does that look?
Man, Becky Lynch over there with Mercedes. That sounds insane.
That sounds crazy.
Getting to where at this point 5 years of AEW and then potentially signing 2 horsewomen, that sounds
nuts.
bonkers. But I just, to me, I think if Seth hadn't re-signed, I think I would be more in the camp of, hey, maybe she'll leave. But at this point, I'm just waiting to see what happens.
And we haven't factored in, like, she still has a baby. Like, she could just go home and, kick it.
I don't think.
Well, not kick it, but
I think there's still stuff that she might want to do.
I would think so.
I don't know.
Maybe not in WWE. She's legit done it all, but I mean, she could go out on top.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
A lot of factors.
I mean, I think the idea of her going to AEW is a big game changer. I think that would be big for them as a company.
Mm-hmm.
I would be very interested in stuff like Becky going over there and working new talent, going over there and potentially working some Japanese talent. All of that sounds really good.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I've told you that the Mercedes match with Britt Baker could be the big match, I feel like the Becky match with Britt is even bigger because you're going to get the talking segments out of that. And the talking segments between those two, those could be incredible. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know if I believe she's going anywhere, but
me neither. I can't.
We also have news like Natalya is her contract's coming up soon.
Now Natty.
Yeah, Natty's an interesting one as well.
Because Natty kind of comes as a package deal, I think. And
yeah, that is interesting because then I wonder what that means for Tyson. I don't know. I think getting a producer like Tyson over there would be incredible for AEW.
And I think getting, from what we've seen in the last year of what they're doing in their dungeon or whatever they're training people at, getting both of them anywhere is like a benefit.
That could be really big for their women's division.
Yeah.
Not just because what Natty could help to develop other wrestlers and Tyson back there producing the matches for the women. Because Tyson, if you don't know, Tyson has produced some great women's matches.
Some of the best WWE matches of the last 5 years, he was the producer of them.
Yeah. We also got Ricochet's contract is coming up. That was the latest news coming out this week. Will Ospreay has been talking a lot about Ricochet. A very controversial quote about him being on speed coming out there. And then he posted the picture of them shaking hands from their famous Best of Super Juniors match. Man, with Ospreay and AEW, look, man, I would love to see Ricochet go over there, man. I would love it.
Listen, for a long time, he was in Lucha Underground. I was always like, when this guy gets to WWE, it's over. Like, Ricochet is going to be the guy. And he's been there, and he's over because, like, you can't not be over with the spots that he does. But I still, like, we've only gotten 50% of Ricochet in WWE. Like, we've not gotten what this guy can really do. Like, he's, like, half speed through his whole thing, and he wouldn't be half speed if he went somewhere else. But I understand all the reasons he would want to stay. You know what I mean?
Money, your girl is there. Your girl is like really, really popular as a ring announcer right now. I don't know. Personally, I don't think Ricochet is going anywhere. But
when we saw the homie do that backflip in the parking lot, I'm like, no, this not. You think this guy's going somewhere? He's living the time of his life. He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. But yeah, that would be wild. I really like the idea of him going to AEW or
me too,
man,
or Japan.
Can you just imagine him showing up in the Best of Super Juniors next year?
Wrestling a bunch of guys inspired by Ricochet. That's the one thing that why I would like him to be out of WWE. Like, I'm so happy that he's living his dream, but there's so many people out that are legit in this business because of him that I want to see him go against. And it's just like, selfishly, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I would love that.
Chad Gable was on this thing too, wasn't he? On this
his contract is up next week, I believe.
What is going on?
This guy is currently getting one of the best pushes of his career, not even one of the best push of his career.
Yeah.
He was the guy that we thought coming off the backs of his NXT run and American Alpha that tag team was going to come up and take over the world. For whatever reason, they split them up. Unfortunately, Jason Jordan got injured. And then, Chad kind of
That's weird.
He kind of floundered for a minute. They
Shorty
tried to do the Shorty G thing with him, but they finally hit on something that's working. I thought all the stuff they did this week with him was tremendous. His match at King and Queen of the Ring was really, really good.
His matches are top notch.
Yeah, that triple threat was really, really good. I think he's got something really good going with Sami Zayn. The segment this week with Otis really hit.
Yep.
And so it feels like he's probably not going anywhere because
I would think so.
I would imagine they wouldn't be putting so much into building him up just to not re-sign him. But this just makes me wonder, that guy they let go, what was he doing?
What was the homie doing?
What was he doing?
Honestly, did he have like 2,000 emails just backed up? He wasn't doing, like, bro, why are these back to back to back to back? And they're not just like NXT names, that they're like Becky Lynch, the biggest
huge names. Like, I have no idea what this guy in talent relations was doing. He just was not answering his phone. He was sitting there just like filing stuff in his folder over there and just throwing it in a cabinet and closing it. I don't know what he was doing.
Now, there have been some conspiracy theorists online that are like, oh, WWE's just doing this as like a ploy to be like, look, we're re-signing all these people. Like, they gonna resign them, but they're just like making it look like there's some kind of struggle or battle. Do you stand in anything on that?
I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. I have to assume that they wouldn't want to get burned again, because this is exactly how Adam Cole ended up leaving, because they didn't know his contract was up, and then it was like, oh, what are we gonna do? Let's hurry up and get something done. And by the time they tried, it was too late. He's already gone. Yeah. And it was kind of the same thing with Malachi, where they didn't know his non-compete was what it was, and next thing you know, he's over there on AEW. And so
the Becky thing is the biggest for me, because how I can't, like, she had to have been like, I don't want to, because there's no way, like, you can't have her the Giantess contract already. Like, how do you, she wouldn't even be in this position to want to take a break if it's on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she's earned a break.
Totally.
I have to assume though that she's going to get a big contract. There's no way.
1,000%.
And I mean, if it's not there, it's going to be somewhere. She's just too good. She's, I mean, at this point, household name. One of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. There's no way she doesn't get a big contract.
But this is what I'm saying on WWE's part, because if I'm Tony Khan, like, right now, I'm in her phone saying, how much money do you want? Because if I can sell my next contract that I'm trying to get, if we have Mercedes and we have Becky Lynch and we have this, like, bro, you know what I mean? Like, that's a big gig. That's another notch under your belt. So she's going to get a giant contract wherever she wants, if she wants it.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts. Like, yeah. I didn't think Mercedes being over there is still weird, but like another horsewoman being over there would make it extra weird.
Yeah. Wild times, but
it's great.
Right now, I none of the names really strike me as people that I really believe are going anywhere so far.
It would all be a surprise if any of them left.
Yeah.
Especially Becky. But, you know, like I said, crazier things have happened. Leonard Aarons III says, if Phoenix gets LeBron James and Bronny Jr., I'm handing in my resignation if I'm a Budenholzer. Budenholzer. Don't even bother waiting around for that pink slip in February.
Yeah, I would be very worried if that's what's coming in the door for you, because then all the expectations for your season change, and we see how this goes when it doesn't work out. Budenholzer is absolutely going to get the blame if it doesn't work out. I don't know why Phoenix would want to do that, though.
I can't think that they would. Sounds terrible. Raghav says, happy Grapsody. Can't wait for Swerve versus Ospreay.
Can't wait. We'll get into that in a few, but very excited for that match.
Mm-hmm. Aaron Busby with a terrible super chat says, Reg, I want you to say this out loud. Eminem is the GOAT. Shameful. Shameful.
Yeah. He's somebody's GOAT.
He's somebody's GOAT.
Yeah. Not mine.
He's somebody's. well deserved. I'll just say that. There you go.
Yeah, he's had a great career.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There could be more. Chris says, as a Becky fan, don't think she'd leave WWE, but I would love to see Becky versus Mercedes at All In. I didn't even think about All In.
Bro, Becky. It might not be the Mercedes match, but this is why it depends. Man, it depends on what they could do by then. Like, there's so much you could do big match wise with Becky.
So many. Like go down like Becky and Tony.
Becky versus Tony at All In sounds
is insane. That's a huge matchup.
Yeah, it's another one where I think the promos would be really, really good as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't want to get my hopes up. Becky's like, you guys stop. I'm like, Becky anywhere but WWE sounds crazy, but yo, dollars and cents. Glassdoor Gamer says AEW about to get paid. Need that Reg diss track for the Monday Night Midget from New York.
You have no idea who you're talking about.
Me neither. Appreciate that, Glassdoor Gamer. Yeah, I hope that AEW gets a big old contract from somebody. Tyrone Kid says female rapper on NXT heard that new song.
Yeah, that song is trash. Sorry. I haven't heard anything else off the mixtape. She, of course, dropped a mixtape this week as well. But the song he's talking about with Drake on it and Drake hopping over the BBL Drizzy beat for a minute. The Drake verse is good. The song itself is not good, though.
Keep it. Yeah. Devil Kazuya 27 says Liv versus Rhea, WrestleMania 41, custody of Dom ladder match.
Yeah, man. They're doing a lot to get us interested in this matchup once Rhea does come back. Don't know how I feel about some of the Liv stuff, but
I get it. Will Chisholm says, y'all think Jordan Grace will beat Roxanne? Because I think it's a real chance, and they run it back at the next TNA pay-per-view.
I do not think that's happening. I think Roxanne is going to win.
Yeah, they're bringing in Jordan to do the thing.
Yeah.
David Reed says, with the running of Swerve and Ospreay now, does that possibly mean Swerve versus Hangman is the all-in plan?
I don't know, but I think that they've been trying to tell us as much as possible, as much as we want that to be the all-in match, that's not happening.
Yeah, totally. I think that they're trying to give us all the signs and prepare us for this.
Yeah, I think that, putting the international belt on Will was the first hint, like, yeah, guys, he's not wrestling Ospreay at this pay-per-view. And that's fine. I don't think that Will needs to have this big... I think you can do that match at Wembley, but you don't really need to do it right away.
And I don't think they would follow it up back-to-back with the Forbidden Door match going again in 2 months. But, I mean...
I don't see it.
And I think you could get there's a way to get any Will Ospreay match that night is going to be huge, and any Swerve match is going to be huge. So I think it'll be fine. Leonard Aarons III says WWE talent relations dude is treating these contracts like we do our bills. No movement until they outside ready to shut it down or take the whip. Not for reals. He's like, final notice.
Yeah, he is absolutely. He was hanging up on all bill collected, bro.
For real.
Picking up the phone and hanging it right back up.
Bro, we've called you 10 times. Could you talk to us?
Yeah.
Becky Lynch, dude, what were you doing?
Crazy.
Dream Ninja 77 says Becky versus returning Jamie Hayter at Wembley is crazy. Back up that Brinks truck to Uncle Tony. Reg obviously bumping XG's new single, Wake Up. Who's XG?
No. I thought that was a reference you get.
Don't get it. Appreciate you, Dream Ninja. That's all of our super chats for now.
Let me sure we have some humper chats.
We're getting counter programmed again, huh? When's Clash of the Castle? It's in like 2 weeks, I think.
It's in like 2 or 3 weeks.
No sons of guns. Love counter programming us. Now, them Saturday morning pay-per-views kind of hit though. I'm not even mad at it.
Yeah, I mean, being able to get up early and watch it and having the rest of your day, I ain't mad at it.
Yeah.
We've got some from Tony P. Of course, Humper Chat regular.
Appreciate you.
Nearly 2 weeks without Grapsody and Petty of the Week winner. So much has happened that I can't even pick a winner. So host choice this week. Before I go on about the graphs, 50 getting Netflix to pay him for a Puff Doc. Genius. Cam in a news interview. Always a good time. I think Cam has to be the winner, right? Cam going on CNN and being Cam in all of the best ways possible, and also not reading the room. Whoever was the booking agent for that, what were they thinking? Like, what?
Not reading the room is the funniest part, though. Like, that's kind of how I feel too. Like, then was it CNN or MS? Where was it?
CNN.
CNN. The people on CNN, I can't blah blah blah. But like your booking agent, you sent Cam in there. You knew what he was about to do. Maybe they didn't care. Maybe it's for the viral moment. Like, it worked, but
what
was
the booking agent thinking? Like, he was not gonna go in there and cooperate with that interview.
No.
And
like, you know what it's gonna be based around. Like, of Cam of all people, Cam was like, I barely know him. I don't know. I just met him.
This was very funny. At moments in it, I felt bad for laughing at it, but it was very funny. Yeah. I don't like the optic of him going in there and then, of course, having a black woman next to him, and it wasn't the best optic, especially with the story that is being covered. But this wasn't really on Cam. He should have not been there. This was a bad choice for that segment.
Exactly.
And I think the interview was trying to handle it as best as she could, but it just wasn't a good scenario in any way.
It's like, we got some famous rapper. He'll know what to say. No, he won't.
It gave us an all-time great segment that I laughed very hard at. Just that whole exchange where she was asking, well, how much do you recognize this behavior? And he tried to duck the question the first time and give him the little disclaimer of, oh, well, I don't condone anything he's accused of. I was pretty upset with all of this. And then she asked it again.
Double down.
His response was classic, man. Him going on and explaining himself on his podcast afterwards, also very funny. Cam.
Crazy time for that Diddy stuff. That Rolling Stone article came out this week that there's something with Carl Winslow in this. You heard about the Carl Winslow stuff?
I haven't read all of it, but that Carl Winslow story had been going on. That Carl Winslow thing was going around for a while.
Was it?
I remember. Because I've heard that before.
Yeah, now this is the first time hearing of it. I'm like, wait, what was happening? Diddy was Bad Boy was. That's a quite fitting label, I tell you. He's been a real bad boy.
We've reignited all of the Puff Kill Biggie conspiracies this week because we got that story coming out. All of that stuff was very nasty to go along with the Cassie stuff, but just some of the stuff like that just kind of made my stomach hurt, like him campaigning to get himself on the cover of Rolling Stones and not Biggie right after he died. I was like, that's nasty.
It's like you did both. Did you do both of these? Did he? You know what I mean? Like, are both of these are your fault?
Yeah,
Biggie and Tupac. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Yeah. Well, we don't know. We don't know that he was.
A lot of people were telling stories like, I did it because somebody had the money out here and blah blah blah. Where'd the money come from?
Yeah. There's definitely more steam to the Biggie conspiracy now, but that story isn't exactly new. That story had been going on for a while. That was kind of, if you know, you know. But this is the most it's been in public conscious. Like, most people that don't like read a lot of hip hop news or don't like pay attention to any of that stuff, they might not know. But that's the story that's been going around for a while.
I've heard Lil C's on a couple of podcasts, and the way that he talks about Biggie's, like, the last year of Biggie's life, he was trying to transition into a different thing away from Puff. Is what if he didn't come out and say we were trying to get out of there, but he's like, we were trying to establish these other things. Junior Mafia was getting a thing. Big was trying to start his label, do production and all these things. So it felt like the writing was on the wall and Big was about to do his own thing, and Puff didn't like that. And the Rolling Stone cover thing is insane. Like, we're gonna pay tribute to one of the greatest rappers of all time who just died at fucking 24 years old.
No. Put me on the cover.
My album's coming out though. It's like what?
Yeah, that makes the entire rollout to No Way Out feel even nastier. Like, yikes.
Like, every time we hear Missing You Forever, it's like, oh my God, dude, I can't believe you did this.
Yeah. Oof.
I'm glad that Sting got all that money off of you, not Steve Borden.
Yeah, artist Sting, police. More from Tony P says, Indy, 3 points, 3 fucking points, 3 fucking times, and now I am forced to pray for Dallas and Kyrie. Also, Reg, I know Dre was an awesome defender, but Clay on Kobe, also good for the Wolves having each other's back. Yeah, specifically he's talking about I don't know if you saw this, Reg, but I guess all of the Wolves decided that they were not going to do any of the interviews with Inside the NBA. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't see this.
So they decided in a series with Dallas that they were going to boycott if they got a chance to do an interview with Inside the NBA because they didn't like how Draymond was talking about Rudy Gobert on there. So, and I mean, that's fair. I mean, Rudy Gobert was the butt of the jokes coming out of a lot of this.
But he has been for a while now. But I get it. Yeah, solid team solidarity. I'm with it.
Yeah, he's definitely been a butt of the joke since at least 2020.
I'm saying
him tapping all of those mics and like almost single-handedly shutting down the entire league.
I'm like, bro, this ain't new. He acted like this. They act like this is new.
Yeah,
he earned this.
Yeah, that was. But I understand their point of view.
Totally.
There was also like the SB Nation article that came out about Towns that was weird. Like,
yeah, no, the whole thing around Minnesota was pretty awkward a lot of the times. It was like. Never about basketball though.
Yeah, they had a good season. They just didn't end it.
They beat the champs,
but they had a good season. Didn't end it well, but you know they'll be back. Hopefully they'll be back.
I mean, they're young.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah, their biggest star is very young. So
exactly,
could be. More from Tony P says Dre at this point has shown himself to be just a bully and needs help for real. The King and Queen of the Ring tournament was decent. I was honestly disappointed with Goat versus Randy. It was good, but expected more. The start didn't help at all. He also says Nia versus Lyra, the IC 3-way were my favorite matches. Also, after this Friday, as entertaining as it was, I am not too hot on this Cody reign. It's starting to feel like Kofi a bit. Not as bad, but inching its way there. There's not much to get into from King and Queen of the Ring, but I thought it was a solid show for what it was. I think the tournaments were very good.
They were.
I thought that raised my hopes for seeing King of the Ring come back next year because the King of the Ring tournament before wasn't that good. And Queen's Crown tournament also wasn't very good. The women got short matches. It didn't really do much.
But this wants to restore the feeling for sure.
Yeah, I thought this year the tournament was very good. And I thought the finals matches were good. I thought the finish to the women's finals was great. Shout out to Nia Jax. We came on here before and talked about how great she's been since she's come back. I think this is a big win for her. She deserves it. I thought coming into this, maybe it's going to be a certain white wrestler that got herself into a little trouble. It was going to be Tiffany Stratton at one point.
What happened to her?
I thought it was going to be EO at one point, but this is I think this is good for Nia. I thought the finish to that match looked crazy.
Yeah, that was a wild finish. Nia's finish is wild already, but the way that they set it up,
that looked crazy. I thought that looked good. And man, shout out to Lyra, man. In a short amount of time, fans are really getting into her on the main roster. Fans are more and more getting into her theme song. I saw something where she's one of the top 5 merch sellers for the women, which I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, she looks over already. It makes sense.
But yeah, had a really dope entrance as well with the big wings. Man, shout out to Lyra. I thought both women did well. I thought the women's tag match was great as well. On the pre-show, I don't know why they didn't just put that on the main card,
I was
especially
super confused.
they had both of them on the poster for this pay-per-view, and then they didn't put the women's tag champions on the card. I was very confused by that. Like,
They don't like those belts, man. I swear they don't like those belts.
I don't get it. Like, to put Bianca and Jade on the poster and then not have them on the main card, that was very strange to me.
Yeah, super weird. Yeah, I think that Naya's really earned this, man. This everything that she's came back and done, she's been 100%. She has more intensity, but also like it seems like she's just having more fun. I think is what makes me happy. But like every time she's out there, she just like a huge personality. She's killing people, but also she's smiling and making jokes at the same time. And I think making her the queen of the ring made a lot of sense. On the other side, now one time I heard your boy Seth Rollins do Talk is Jericho, and he talked about his match, the famous WrestleMania match where he does the pop-up RKO, and he's all, Randy Orton just likes to have like regular, like C+ match. Like he's like, if we could go out there and just cruise, do a couple suplexes, get there, get out, nothing crazy, it'll be fine. Like he had to fight him to do that RKO. Like that RKO almost didn't happen because Randy Orton's like, what if it doesn't happen? That's too much error. You know what I mean?
Can tell him nothing when he hit it. After he hit it, he celebrated like it was the biggest win of his career.
So yeah, I've always had that expectation, and that's the expectation I have with Gunther. I'm like, he's not gonna let Gunther chop him 1,000 times. He's not gonna, like, this ain't gonna be the Sheamus match. Like, he's not gonna be in there and getting his ass beat. And I was like, Gunther's just gonna like cruise his way into becoming the king of the ring, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent match. It wasn't really much to
not a Gunther match, you know.
I didn't expect it because I mean it's Randy. I mean, you know, Randy's Randy, but I didn't expect that kind of match. But right outcome.
We aren't big Randy Orton fans.
Randy's fine, but I've for a long time felt like he's pretty overrated. But I think the match was fine. I think it was the right outcome. The finish was bizarre. I don't know why they did that screwy finish. There are rumors out there as to why they did it, but without any proof to confirm it, I don't really want to get into that.
A wrestling veteran and a screwy finish. I wonder how that happened.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a word that's not how that match was supposed to end. But you know,
wrestling is so funny, man.
If you did see this pay-per-view, Randy's shoulder was way up off the mat, and Gunther still won this via pinfall. He's your new king of the ring. But I think that was the right outcome. I think everything Gunther has done so far with the crown is great. Coming out and not putting the crown on, just kind of carrying it like this is beneath me. Mm-hmm. I think that is fucking great. It's so in character for him to be like, no, this is a goofy gimmick. I only won this because I want a title shot and I want the acclaim and accolade of being king of the ring. But I'm not about to be walking around with this crown on my head doing this character. That's something that Xavier Woods would do. You think I want to be compared to that clown over there? That's perfectly in character for him, and I love that. And so I think all of that, him coming out this week on Raw with the crown just in his hands, love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that, of course, he was the favorite to win, and this kind of added thing of like, I'm not about to wear that robe. I'm not about to carry a scepter. Yeah. I'm not about to put that crown on, big dog. I'm the king around here, but I'm not going to look like some clown doing it, you guys. I'm still the guy that comes out here and kills people. I'm still the one that wants to be world champion, and this is just my easy path to getting there.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think that that's not just a good way for him to stay in character, but I think it's also a good way to get heat on him because for him, I mean, just that comparison I made to Woods, because we love Woods, it's like, oh, well, how dare you say that about Woods? Right. How dare you say that about a long lineage of other guys that put that crown on their head?
Bret Hart put that crown on his head, dude. What do you mean?
Exactly. So you're telling me that, you know, Macho Man could put that crown on his head twice, but you're too good for this? Right. Yeah, it's a great way to get heat. But like I said, all the character stuff he's doing with it is phenomenal.
Yeah, Gunther's been killing it. So that earned him a shot at the World Championship SummerSlam. Do you think he's going to win?
I don't know. It depends on who he's facing. But that's also they're doing this very weird thing where Drew has the title shot coming up in a few weeks in
Yep.
his home country at Clash at the Castle, but then Gunther's got the match at SummerSlam. I don't know. I have to assume that Drew is probably going to win.
I think so, because it feels like they're building to Drew and Gunther at Clash of the Castle, which would make more sense. But
Well, Drew and Gunther at SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam, yeah. I don't know if giving Drew the belt for that amount of time, like essentially making him another transitional champion, is that
that's
the move?
Yeah, but that's why I don't know. You also have this Punk stuff
still here, yeah,
going around. There was a thing I saw where I think Drew said that if he wins, he would offer Punk a title shot or something like that. I don't know if that's real.
And then I'm like, you can't have Drew lose 2 years in a row at Clash of the Castle, right?
Yeah, I because it made sense for him to get that win and then lose the way he did at WrestleMania because he wasn't on contract yet, and then it also played into all of the character stuff he was doing it up to WrestleMania.
Right.
But if you're just gonna have him win and then lose within weeks again, I don't really see that.
I don't think that's the move. That doesn't sound like the right thing to do. But you gotta have him win at Clash of the Castle. So what?
He's gonna lose twice at Clash of the Castle?
Yeah. they painted themselves into a wild corner.
And I personally, as much as I think Damian's been a good champion.
Totally.
I would much rather see Drew versus Gunther at SummerSlam. I think that's going to be a better match.
It is. And I think Drew's just been hotter in this position. He just needs to be the world champion at this point. But yeah, that's kind of a dilemma you run into because but then you don't want Gunther to just run through him a couple weeks later at SummerSlam. But then also he could. That would make sense. But for Drew's character, and if you're still trying to sell this Punk stuff, I think you want him to be champion for a couple months.
Yeah, all very unpredictable. And I mean, I don't know if you want to go into the summer with this big heel versus heel program as well.
Right.
Which all of this kind of tells me that Drew is probably going to lose. Because it's very much leaning towards them turning Damian face.
Right.
So
the last couple of weeks they've been teasing the face turn thing.
So I don't know. But I think it's good that this is unpredictable.
My only issue is I think face Damian Priest is not that great.
I think he was, especially on NXT.
Yes.
But you just got to get back around to it. I'm not sure what they're going to do here. I think that's a good thing, but
it's a great thing.
They've also muddied it a little bit by letting us know who the challenger is ahead of time. But it is.
That's why I can't think they had that idea to make this title match at SummerSlam before they did this. Because why are you telling us this already? That's 2 months away, and you're kind of screwing up the Clash at the Castle bit.
Yeah. Got the women's match as well. I thought it was cool. I thought Becky's gear for Saudi was cool. She had she had the suit on. I thought Liv looked solid. It was a solid match for them. Dom,
I thought Monday the Raw match was a lot better, but this was pretty good.
Really?
I kind of like the cage match better.
I didn't like the cage match.
You didn't like it?
No. I thought the finish was stupid.
The finish was kind of whack.
I thought the finish was extremely stupid.
I knew that they were going to do a cage slam thing. It was kind of silly. How do you live?
What do you mean? How do I feel about her?
Yeah, do you buy in her as champion? I kind of like her better as a chaser.
I think that this is the right way to go about it. But it does already kind of feel like what they were doing with her as Money in the Bank winner.
Exactly.
Where it doesn't feel like she's won off her own merits. It's not like she did all of that and did the revenge tour and it was going to lead up to her finally get her moment. Her moment came because Dom threw that chair in the ring and she cheated. And then she retained in a very stupid way on Monday because of Dom and for some reason Braun Strowman getting involved.
As soon as Braun's music hit, I was like, there's going to start to book this remember Carmella's reign where fucking James Ellsworth it was like, what? Why? Just let her win. And then we saw such a strong run of Rhea where she wasn't in bullshit like that it's unfortunate that they're putting Liv through this swarmy heel, blah blah blah. You barely get out with the championship type deal. It's like I don't really want that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the match at the pay-per-view was fine. The match on Monday, I was just like, meh.
Yeah, a little bit
But
overbooked.
yeah, I think it was a bit overbooked. But I'm intrigued with what they're doing with the Dom stuff. They have closed Monday night with Liv kissing Dom, and we don't know what this means. It seemed like Dom did not want to kiss her, but at the same time, there are a lot of coincidences here. You flew all the way to Saudi Arabia to stop her from winning, and that ended up helping her winning. You helped her win again here on accident, quote unquote. This could be leading to something interesting. And I think it's interesting for what this could lead to with Rhea, but the whole fluky Liv wins thing.
Yeah,
I don't really. I feel like she's been considered a good wrestler long enough that you don't need to keep doing this, and it kind of tells me, without telling me, that you don't really believe in her as a believable champion.
totally.
And even if that's not what you're saying, that's what you're showing us.
It's classic. That's how they book the heel type thing. What's really kind of confusing to me is like she got this heat and she got over doing a thing, and then they kind of just like took all those things away from her. Like everything that made her popular and where she is, they took it away. Like it makes sense because they're trying to do the heel thing, but I don't know if essentially just inserting her into Rhea's spot was the right move. They're like, okay, well, Rhea's gone. Let's kind of turn Liv into that.
Yeah, I think it was an odd choice to go from something where she had this cool backstage beatdown thing with Rhea, where she legitimately injured Rhea, and that's why Rhea had to go away. And now you're in a spot where you got your revenge. Why don't you just win by being brutal and doing something like that again? Once you introduce Dom into it, it takes that energy away from her. And I mean, hey, maybe it'll lead to something good. But again, this whole fluky win thing.
Oh, yeah. I forgot she was doing like the hardcore Liv stuff. Like they just forgot about all that.
Yeah. But I mean, it's fine. I think that they needed somebody to step into that role as a heel with Rhea away. And I think it's going to work for Liv in the meantime. But the follow-up has got to be better, I think.
Who is Becky's gone? Rhea's out. Who's gonna be her feud this summer? Can't be Dom.
Well, you got Lyra.
Yeah.
So you can make her challenger coming up. You got other baby faces, I think. You got to assume that EO is eventually going to come for that belt. They did some interesting stuff with EO on Raw as well. You got challengers you can build up. I wonder when Charlotte's going to be ready to come back, because that feels like a ready-made match, especially
always
with the Becky stuff. And, Charlotte was essentially a babyface before she went away, and she had made up with Becky. So that could be a match.
That could be the SummerSlam match.
And she's been working super hard to get back, so I don't know.
I'm sure she'd be back soon. She's a freak.
Yeah. But yeah, the real selling point for the pay-per-view for me was the main event. I thought the main event was very good. In spots, it was a bit overbooked, but I think the match itself was very good.
My bro hit a vertebrae. Cody Rhodes is such one of the funniest wrestlers of all time. I'll just say that. My bro hit a vertebrae. I think that somebody they're talking about it in the super chat, and I've seen some people talking about Cody Rhodes' reign, and I think that's kind of it's not his fault. Like if you're to get to the belt, he was involved with Roman, who was all over the show, and the fucking Rock. Like it was going to be hard to like follow that up with something that seemed worthy of that follow up. Now, I think I've seen a lot of people's issue is like he just doesn't have a feud, and like I guess that's probably the biggest thing,
Well, he has a feud now because it seems like they're building the AJ stuff up to be his main feud moving forward. I agree to an extent, because I think both his title defenses so far on pay-per-view have been good matches.
They have.
But I think the stuff in between hasn't been as interesting. It kind of feels like there's a lot of stuff happens around Cody, and then he ends up having to defend his belt. It's not like he's the driving figure in his story. It's always something else happening around him, and then it's like, all right, well, I'm going to defend my belt against that person.
And this is weird because like the earlier this year, the whole thing was built. It was Cody. Anything that he did, it was hot. He had to be attached to it, and it seems not like that at this point.
Yeah, and I think the promos he was having with Logan were good. But I just think the idea of, somebody telling him who his challenger is, and then that's how you get there, it's not much of a story. And I think that's been the main issue, is there are not many stories built around Cody as a character. Now, you can change that with this AJ thing, hopefully. But my fear, and this was my fear weeks ago, and everything I've seen so far has kind of confirmed it, is that he's just kind of in a holding pattern until Roman and The Rock come back. Yeah. And my belief is that the SummerSlam match is going to be Roman. And that's why when I was sitting there watching King and Queen of the Ring, I was like, Randy's not going to win because the match is Roman. Randy's not going to get that match.
I don't want to say is there interest in that, because there is, but what's the selling point? Is Roman just gets his rematch and Cody kind of seals his reign?
I think the selling point, story-wise, makes a lot of sense, but it's just getting there. Because especially last night on SmackDown, all the stuff that they did with the Bloodline, and man, kudos to Paul Heyman, because buddy, that guy is working to keep us interested in this Bloodline stuff. He was trying to carry that segment on his back last night, and buddy, he was killing it. He's been killing it in the backstage segments with Solo. He's single-handedly almost made all this stuff more and more interesting to me.
Right.
But, one of the greatest of all time. So no shock here.
Nobody's surprised.
Yeah. But come on, man. This guy can sell a match.
Yeah.
This guy can sell an angle. But I think the story, because Paul brought up Cody last night, because he was saying, all right, well, you're doing all of this stuff, but there's no strategy to it. It's like, he did a very good job of selling why this version of Bloodline is dangerous, but he also was like, they're aimless. Like, they are just kind of like going around beating people up, but their focus should be putting Cody Rhodes on notice until Roman comes back.
Right.
And you can see everything that they're doing with this story, and all the heat that they're getting on Solo and what he's doing is making people miss Roman more and more. And it's genius. When they got out there and you can hear the crowd saying, we want Roman, you're seeing more signs in the crowd of
at King and Queen of the Ring, they were chanting for Roman too. Like everywhere they go now, it's Roman.
Yeah, there was a big sign out there that said, not my tribal chief. And so I think it's smart. Like, they're building anticipation for Roman to come back. And, he has unfinished business. He's the tribal chief because of that belt. And so what is he without that belt? That is the question. So I think it's pretty clear he's going to come back and challenge for the belt at SummerSlam. And I think he's going to lose. I think the whole point of this is that he's going to show up to get his belt back at SummerSlam, and he's going to lose. And as Solo told us the night after WrestleMania, when he kicked Jimmy out, losing has consequences. That's going to lead to him kicking Roman out of the Bloodline for good. We even got the line last night that furthered my theory that I've had for a while, because he said, well, we're doing what we're supposed to do. And Paul was like, who's we? And I was like, yeah, who's we?
What do they do at SummerSlam if they do this match when Roman gets more cheers than Cody does? Because Roman's going to come back a fucking gigantic babyface at this point.
Well, of course, I think that's leading to him turning face, but I think his face turn is leading to the War Games match. Because I think that's this year's War Games match. I think it's OG Bloodline versus this version of the Bloodline. And yeah, still not sure how they're going to make it a 4v4, but we'll get there. I still think that Rock is pulling the strings behind all of this.
Roman, Usos, and Jacob against the other dudes, right? Who's on the other side? Solo, God, and they need one more.
Maybe Hikuleo? if he's out of his contract by then. Maybe some rando that they throw in the fourth spot. I don't know, but I don't think it'll be The Rock. I don't think so
either.
I do think Rock is pulling the strings here, but I cannot see Rock doing a War Games match.
No, absolutely not. He might be like there, like at the show, but not like in the match. Probably won't see him back until WrestleMania season officially gets kicked into high gear. But yeah, I just see Roman coming back as his gigantic baby face, and it's going to. This summer's going to be super interesting with how they're building things and what Cody, like specifically what they do with Cody, because like they have to keep him strong while still booking the bloodline shit strong, you know?
Yeah, but I have to assume that that's the whole reason some of this stuff is going the way it is because, you know, they still got Roman in their back pocket.
Right.
You want a big match for SummerSlam. They've already told you that they want SummerSlam to feel like a WrestleMania level show in the middle of the year. So they're going to try, and if Roman's coming back for a big match, it's got to be at SummerSlam.
Right.
I don't think they're going to just have him come straight back and do the Survivor Series match.
I wouldn't think so. And that's just too long for him to be away.
No, I agree. And so, yeah, I firmly believe that we're going to get Cody Roman at SummerSlam.
Wow. So where does Cody lose his championship? Do you think he keeps it all the way to WrestleMania?
I don't. And my fear is that's why they're keeping this belt on Rock that does not mean anything.
Yeah.
I don't think Cody will still be champion by WrestleMania now, because we'll have a Money in the Bank winner by then.
True.
And you got to think Money in the Bank will factor in. You got all these other things happening. I don't think Cody will be still champion.
Who's gonna win Money in the Bank? Now I have a bunch of other questions.
Yeah, very intriguing.
Because Gunther doesn't have to win. People are saying him, but no, he already has a title match.
Yeah. My favorite match from this pay-per-view though was the three-way. The three-way match was incredible.
The three-way match was sick, dude. Those guys work really well together. Bronson, I like that he's been continuously put in these positions because he fucking rocks. He's cool.
Man, not for nothing. Bronson versus Otis was really good.
Hey, no, Bronson versus Otis went off though.
And man, Otis, I had been saying for a while after they turned him heel, I'm like, why'd they do this? This guy's so charismatic, he's so likable, and you could see in that match again just how good this guy is as a baby face, how easily he gets the crowd behind him. He's such a good, empathetic figure. Yeah, I hope they have plans for Otis after all of this Alpha Academy stuff.
Yeah, the heel turn made sense for Chad Gable's character, but for Otis, it didn't make sense because he's so over in the crowd. When he turns on, is talking about turning on Chad Gable or even teasing it, they're already super hot for it. And so, you know, he's one of those. It's like it made sense at the time, but they need to get him right back to babyface because he can be super over still.
Yeah.
Something about him.
Yeah, it's just something about him. I still think they dropped the ball with that tag team. I think they could have done more.
They did.
But Otis as just a baby face by himself, they got something there.
Maybe not with the silly dance and shit, but you know.
I mean, that's a part of his bit. They're doing the worm and like, doing his Chris Farley bit. Like this, it works.
Oh yeah, people do like that shit. You're right. silly. But yeah, another fun show. They are continuing with these kind of short, get to the point type cards, and I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, very short and to the point. 5 match cards. I'm not mad at that.
There's definitely a contrast between them and AEW big shows now.
Yes. We got some more Humper chats, but I'm going to hit a word from our sponsors, and we're going to get back into that and some more of our topics.
Yeah.
BetOnline.ag is the official betting partner of Fightful. 100% of the time when you get the odds from Fightful, they are coming from BetOnline.ag. And it's not just wrestling, it's not just MMA and boxing, It's football, it's basketball, baseball, hockey. They have the earliest lines. You can bet big with the high limits and rebet functionality. They have the fastest payouts with winnings paid in minutes and the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit. They've been trusted for 25 plus years. It's not some fly-by-night company. BetOnline AG has been there. They've done that. In addition, they're trusted by millions. They've got VIP rewards programs and a ton of popular games. BetOnline.ag, that's where I go to make my bets. That's where I suggest you go to, my friends. Please just bet what you can and bet responsibly.
As always, please bet responsibly, but for your wrestling needs, for your other sports needs, betonline.ag, the place to go.
Yeah. So yesterday I was driving on the yesterday the freeway was backed up and it was weird. I was like, it was like the middle of the day. And so I get to the part that's all weird and I'm like, the road's like filled with a mess. And it like it looks like dead animals on the street. And so I just saw the news story that a truck spilled beef and chicken all over the freeway. And so when I drove through it yesterday, it smelled super weird. There's just all this dead beef and chicken all over the street. The freeway. It was weird. Very weird.
Where did that come from? I thought that you were segueing this into something with Bet Online, and you're just like, nope. No, just a bunch of raw meat on the
meat on the freeway. Oakland, California.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's jump back to somebody over chat. Let's see. We got one from Tyrone Kid. He says, afternoon to 2-man power trip. Swerve and Ospreay is going to cook. Can't wait. But also, time to put you on the stand, Philip. Explain yourself, sir. With this Thriller is better than Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, especially in my opinion when Thriller isn't his best work. Buddy, there's not much to explain here. I love Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, but Thriller is Thriller, man. It's one of the top-selling albums of all time. There are several singles on this that are like massive singles, man. Like I don't think it's even close.
Thriller, you guys, come on.
Thriller is if we consider Michael Jackson one of the greatest entertainers of all time, that is easily like his most successful album. It doesn't matter if you think that's his best body of work. I mean, it's tough to argue that it's not his best body of work. I know some people think Off the Wall is the better album. But in terms of what that album did, not just in terms of selling, the videos that came out of it, just the way that it changed so many things. No, Thriller is one of the greatest albums of all time.
We had that record as a kid, and I remember dancing to fucking Thriller as a little kid. Like the heights that is crazy. People like to use that against Thriller. It's like, oh, it was such a huge commercial success. It's like, well, that doesn't take away from the reason why it was, because these songs are all massive hits.
Bro, he forced them to start putting black artists on MTV.
Yeah,
that's how big
MTV was like, all right, damn it, we guess we got to play the black people on here now.
Bro, Thriller, The Girl Is Mine, PYT, Beat It, Human Nature, bro.
Come on.
Nah, one of the greatest albums of all time.
The Lauryn Hill album is great, of course. Like it's like she's rode a fucking 25-year career off one album, so can't take away from that. But Thriller, dude.
No, Thriller's a better album, man.
Yeah, totally.
Sorry, I don't know why that's even really up for debate. Mm-hmm. It's not up for debate for me. I get, but no, Thriller's a monster, man. You put most people's work against Thriller, they're having a hard day.
And like, it's universal. Like the Lauryn Hill shit is like huge, but like Thriller is Thriller. We could go to a fucking third world country right now and they'd be like, Michael Jackson, you know what I mean? Like they don't.
Oh, bro. No skips on this album. Not just no skips on this album. Several huge singles off of this.
Some of the biggest songs of all time.
No, man. Thriller.
That's forever.
Bro. And like I said, I love that Lauryn album, but nah. Thriller is Thriller, man. You can't just.
I was
put
actually
any
just watching the Thriller the video, and it's really Michael Jackson is hilarious in that video.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the greatest artists of all time. One of the greatest entertainers to ever step on a stage anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Bird Gene asked, because now we're into this Apple 100, top 100 albums, which, man, you know, lists. You know what lists are for. It's really to get people to argue. But Bird Gene says their Kanye West album that gets there. It's a Kanye album in the top 100, right?
Yeah, I think Beautiful Twisted Fantasy was like 25 or something like that.
Yeah, what'd you think about they had the Kendrick album at 7? They had a Good Kid, Mad City at 7, I believe.
Not my favorite Kendrick album, but I totally understand like what it is, how it hit, what it represents. Like, yeah.
But 7. I saw that and I was like, I don't know about that.
Anytime somebody, Rolling Stone, anytime somebody makes a list, I know, hypocritical. I'm like, I don't want to see this shit.
Yeah. Here, I can scroll through and make sure that I have this right. So, of course, number 1, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Thriller at number 2. It's just egregious to me.
That just sounds crazy.
Yeah. Beatles Abbey Road is 3. Purple Rain is at 4. This is also an interesting one. Frank Ocean Blonde at 5.
Frank Ocean Blonde is the 5th greatest album.
It's gonna sound even crazier when I tell you what 6 is. Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life is 6. I was like, no, there's no way. Blonde is not a better album than that Stevie Wonder album. I don't want to hear that. Get out of here. Good Kid, Mad City is 7.
I don't know if any of those albums are better than the Stevie album, and you're gonna tell me that Frank Ocean Blonde is better than fucking Stevie Wonder. All right.
Yeah, Good Kid, Mad City is at 7. Amy Winehouse is at 8. Back to Black. Nirvana, Nevermind is at 9. And sense. Beyonce Lemonade is at number 10. That is, of course, just the top 10. And I like Blonde. Blonde is a great album. Of course, that's another one that's controversial. Channel Orange or Blonde. I kind of think Channel Orange is a better album.
Orange, man. Channel Orange.
But still, Blonde at
what's the criteria? Did they say a criteria, or is it just this is what they like?
They gave a criteria. I can find it and read it, but
like, were they just basing it off streams? Like, what's up?
It's influence and all these other things. Like, there was a criteria for it, but yeah, I saw that and I was like, bro, Ebro got to explain some. He got to explain.
They were talking about that. I saw them at least try to explain the Kendrick thing, and they were like, "Oh, we had to choose between his albums, and we couldn't put all of them, so blah blah blah."
But I mean, if you're gonna pick, because if you're telling me out of the top 100 albums of all time, you're picking the best rap album of all time that you're gonna put in the top 10. You're putting that Kendrick album in the top 10.
Which number was the greatest album of all time? Hip hop album. I said, what number was the greatest hip hop album of all time? Which is Illmatic. I think it was like 20 something.
I had to pull up the entire list.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let me look at the entire list. But yeah, when I saw that, I was like, all right. So you're then telling me if Good Kid, Mad City is in the top 10, it's the best rap album of all time.
That's what they're saying.
It's not.
It's not.
It is not. Maybe I'm making a leap there, but it's not. Like,
you're not. I don't think Good Kid, Mad City is the greatest rap album. Like I said, Illmatic is the greatest rap album of all time.
I don't. I like Good Kid, Mad City, but do I think it's his best album? Absolutely not.
Exactly. I thought that's also where I thought. I was like, it's not even his best album. I think it was where we'd have to land.
Kanye came in at number 26 with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, which fair enough. That's largely considered his best album. But even 26 is a little bit low, and you're gonna put Good Kid, Mad City. Like, I hate to be that guy, but My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is better than Good Kid, Mad City.
I think so too.
And
I think Pimp a Butterfly is Kendrick's best album. But yeah, I think Twisted Fantasy is better than Good Kid, Mad City.
Oh man, you got your guess where Illmatic falls on this list?
It's pretty not that far from there. I'd say 35.
Number 39.
39.
You're telling me that that Good Kid, Mad City is that much better than Illmatic? No. I can't.
It's kind of like who are we talking about? Oh, we were talking about Jordan earlier. It's like, well, how do you put Kobe and LeBron over Jordan when there wouldn't be any Kobe or LeBron over Jordan? Like there wouldn't be a Good Kid, Mad City if there wasn't Illmatic. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard.
Yeah, just like when you just look at some of these, like I kind of think Janet Jackson Control at 42 is kind of crazy.
That's egregious.
Some of these, I'm just like, what? Why
are you telling me the Beatles albums are better than all these albums you guys just asked?
But I mean, even the Beatles album that they put in the top 3, Abbey Road is not the Beatles' best album. And that's at 3 over Song in the Keys of Life?
Over Songs in the Keys of Life.
No.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
No.
I hear everybody from any genre of any stature talk about that Stevie Wonder album. Like they're all like, that's the album. Anybody. It could be hip hop, rap, pop, R&B. They're always like that album.
Yeah, there are some of these that like. Here's another one I think is insane when you think of like R&B albums. What it did at that time period. Usher Confessions is at 95. It's at 95. And then like 95? I said, Blonde is in the top 10. That doesn't make sense.
Bruh, when Confessions came out, there wasn't a car, there wasn't a house, there wasn't a TV that wasn't playing fucking Usher. Like I hated this album. That's how much they were playing it. And for great reason. There's like 14 back-to-back hits on this thing. And that's the 95th. This is why these lists, man. And Blonde is not better than that album, Phil. No, Blonde is not better than Confessions.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm trying to look and see are there repeats on here because some
95 is crazy.
Because some of these artists, like I get like,
where's Hove at? Does Hove have anything on this? Like Hove doesn't have one.
He has to. Let's see. Jay-Z Blueprint is 13.
Okay. Is that Hove's best album?
I think it's largely considered one of his best albums, if not his best album.
I put it up there.
But like, I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to see if there are any repeats on here because I think there are multiple Beatles albums that you could put on here.
I would think so.
I think there like I see there are 2 Radiohead albums on here. OK Computer and Kid A, but OK Computer is ranked above Kid A. What?
Yeah.
No. No. Yeah. Like Taylor Swift being in the top 20 for. Let me stop listening to this. Put it away. I don't know.
It's all subjective.
It's very subjective, but some of these, when you look at like where some things are placed and where some things are not, but oh man.
Talking all this shit when the BW 500 comes out, somebody's gonna be like, "What are all that shit you talk?" Well, yeah. You're right.
Somebody, Redman asked us, "Is Eminem on this list?" I'm pretty sure he's on the list.
Yeah, I think he's on there.
He has to be.
I'm pretty sure the original Marshall Mathers LP's on there.
Marshall Mathers LP is on here. It came in at number 80, which again, I'm like, what is the criteria for this? Because I don't.
Are there like 10 hip hop albums on here? There can't be 10 at this pace.
Like even the Beyonce album that they picked and they put that in the top 10, Lemonade. I'm
saying like the criteria must have like they must have used like heavy on influence, heavy on the other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Not what's the best musically, like what's the best that did numbers, what's the best that viral, what's the best that blah blah blah. Beyonce changed the game, dropping that shit, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Some of these are some weird placements, man. I don't. Yeah. Yeah, but that was the conversation.
It's hard, you guys.
That was the conversation all this week. Sorry that I disappointed you, Tyrone Kid, but Thriller is absolutely a better album than the Miseducation of Mario.
That's it.
I'm sorry.
Forget the rest of the list. That's what it is. Like Thriller is better.
Yeah, but no hate to Lauren. I think that's dope for her to get that nod. I think it's great that like they gave her like the plaque or something, and there's like a dinner or something for her. That's cool, but
one album, bro. Everybody else on this list has like 5 albums. She has 1, and she got number 1.
Yeah.
And I went to a Lauryn Hill and Nas show, you guys, and Lauryn Hill was on time. I just again want to put that on record.
Special night. Very special night. More Humper chats. We've got one from Tony P. Says, I don't want his reign to just be used as a vehicle to keep the Bloodline story going. NXT is trying to go back to its black and gold roots. Other than Red being on there, I was pleased to see All Ego on TV again and Grace getting a bigger shine and a bag. The report about her contract that she did for her appearances. Hey man, good for her.
Hey, let's go. Like you said, if anybody deserves it over there, it's definitely her. She's worked so hard, tirelessly to put that women's division in TNA over, but to put all women divisions in every company over. Not even women's division, just to put wrestling over. She's been a big proponent of intergender wrestling. She's been a big proponent of being treated equally as the men. So happy that she's getting the shot. I heard they didn't prep Roxanne, and there was a surprise to her too, which also makes the moment really cool. Everything kind of connected to that seems really cool. It's so funny because remember when Mickey was in the Royal Rumble and we were like, there's probably nothing ever going to happen off of this partnership, and then nothing happened. And then Jordan was in the Rumble and she was like, something's probably going to happen. And we were all like, yeah, all right, Jordan, but it's happening.
Go figure. The report from Fightful Select, if you did not catch Sean's interview with Jordan, that was also very good.
Yep.
But the report this week is that she got around a 6-figure deal for her appearances.
3 appearances, bro.
Good for her. I think that's dope.
That's sick. I hope that helps. And maybe because her husband, Jonathan Gresham, was tweeting and he was very excited. And he said that this has been her dream for a long time. So hopefully, like, if she wants to get a contract over there officially, she does.
Yeah. Tyrone Kid is trying to start stuff in our chat by saying that Bad is a better album than Thriller. That's a debate that some people have. I don't.
I wouldn't stand behind that.
I don't know what that. I agree with that, but
like I only feel like Off the Wall is in the contender for being best Mike album, but even then, like, it's Thriller, you guys. Nobody can sell me anything else.
Yeah, I think it's a subjective thing. It's for most people. What is your favorite Mike album? And Mike doesn't have a bad album.
Exactly.
But for me, I still think in terms of accolades and like all the criteria you can put on it, I think Thriller is better.
It's like, what's your favorite Hove album? Like, there's not really a wrong answer. I mean, kind of, but not really. Yeah. But nobody ever says those wrong answers, though.
There's a wrong answer. Definitely a wrong answer.
Nobody ever says it, though.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's ever like, hey, what's your favorite Hove album? Oh, Blueprint 3. Nobody ever says that.
So somebody somewhere is like, man, Kingdom Come. Like, no.
Nah.
That's how.
Underrated one, though. They be hating on it.
Hey, I like Kingdom Come.
The bad songs are real. That's what Hove is. Like, the bad songs are really bad, but the good songs are always great, you know?
Yeah, he's always going to throw us some filler in there that I'm like, what is
this? You're much better than this. I don't understand why you're doing this.
He tried to get that I know what girls want flip
off. Oh yeah, Hove, I don't want this.
More from Tony P. He says, I am curious to see how this partnership will work. We know of TNA's backstage issues, and WWE could have sneaky motives for going into this. I hope it works out in a positive way. Double or Nothing was an experience to watch and made me have FOMO. Yeah, I don't know, man. The stuff we're hearing about TNA is very strange. I got an email.
Yeah, what's going on?
I got an email this morning. It was either this morning or late last night. That they refunded me my money for my subscription to their YouTube. And so, y'all, this is strange. We got the news that they will not have shows for like a 2-month stretch, which is like, what?
Yep.
What does that mean?
And we got news of a bunch of people either leaving the company or some stuff. Like, there's some writers over there that have left in the last week, some very prominent writers on their staff. and some other very important figures have recently left. So I don't know what's going on over there, but coming off of them being renamed TNA, which wasn't that long, it seems like things have gotten worse since then.
Yeah, just off of the backs of Scott D'Amore leaving. It seems like this reboot of TNA has been kind of a weird one.
It's like a curse instead of a gift. They're like, we're gonna go back to the days of them. Like, yeah, you guys are. It's fucking crazy over here.
Yeah. Let me pull up. There's a Fightful Select report about it. Yeah, via Fightful Select, 3 employees were let go, confirming PW Insider's report that longtime producer David Shahabi was let go. We're told that
he's been there for a long time.
Yeah, we're told that he would be replaced. In addition, Fightful confirmed that Lou D'Angelo was also let go. D'Angelo is best known as Lou E. Dangerous from ECW and has served as VP of Marketing at Anthem Sports Group with TNA. Wow. He also was credited in being a primary reason why CM Punk was around TNA so much in recent years. Third departure was said to be an assembly department. Wouldn't be a name that many in wrestling know. However, their departures were said to be Anthem wanting to go in a new direction and get more effective in the live event market. Another departure was R.D. Evans, who actually left of his own volition. Evans' WW departure lives in wrestling lore, as word has it that after Vince McMahon screamed at him, he said, "I hope you learned something today," to Vince, and walked out. What a G. That was great.
That's hard as hell. I hope you learned something today and walk out. It's hard.
That's awesome. But yeah, earlier reports elsewhere indicated there are no events announced after early August, but we've confirmed late August is set for tapings as well.
Okay.
So yeah, just with all of that, the departures, I have to find what's going on with their subscription service, because like I said, I was refunded my money earlier and I don't know what's going on. That all is very strange. Hopefully nothing bad happens here with TNA, but I have to assume with them being more interested in doing the partnership with WWE that there's got to be something to this. I don't know what that means, but I've been thinking there's something weird going on, going all the way back to Scott D'Amore being let go. So yeah, hopefully nothing, too bad happens here, because there are a lot of people that work there, of course, don't want to see anybody being put out of work or this turning into something like layoffs or something, because that affects people's lives.
Yeah, I hope that this is just, like I said in the story, it says something about Anthem just wanting to restructure, trying to get their live event thing, because that's been a thing with TNA for a while, is like getting their live events, people in the building. They were in Vegas recently and it wasn't great, and like Vegas is their home, and like they've had a bunch of stuff like that recently. So I hope this isn't attached to like, let's cut the fat because we're bleeding money over here. I'm looking for a Joel Pearl tweet, because I know he tweeted about the TNA thing recently on what happened with their what's happening with their library. I just have to find the tweet. I think he said that they just want everybody to go to, because you have the YouTube service.
Yes.
Yeah, they want everybody to go to the TNA Plus, I think it's called.
Okay.
So they're just trying to convert people off of that.
Okay. Speed Punk is saying they're discontinuing their Ultimate Insider on YouTube membership because they want people to sign up for TNA Plus.
Right.
That makes sense, but just the timing of it and the way all of this looks, it does look crazy.
Yeah, what that stuff coming off the backs of releases and the big Scott D'Amore, it would seem weird to wake up to an email being like, "Oh, here's your money back," too. You're like, "Wait, what's going on though? Why are you giving me my money back?"
Yeah, it's very sudden. Yeah,
it's just unfortunate that like this reboot just happened, dude. Like, this is new. Like, we thought that they were gonna be into some new stuff, and like on TV, they're doing a lot of great stuff. They just had an Ali and Leon Slater match. Like, Nick Nemeth is doing his thing. Like they're shining, like they're doing some stuff, but it's just, I don't know, behind the scenes, it's looking really weird.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully this partnership with WWE is going to lead to something good for them. I don't know what to make of it. As there's also a lot of room to be leery here because we've seen what happens when WWE partners with other companies before. But right now
Usually
we're just
works
wait and
out
see
for
mode.
usually works out for WWE, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to assume, even if this isn't leading to them gobbling up TNA or something like that, Jordan Grace is eventually going to end up a full-time roster member. I believe she just signed an extension last year, and I think it's a 2-year contract extension. So if my math is right, her contract is up sometime next year. I think she's going to end up in WWE.
Definitely 1000%. At this rate, they're already telling us that they love her. Like, it's only a matter of time before she's officially over there. And again, good for her. She's incredible. Yeah. But hopefully TNA gets their shit together because they have a lot of super talented wrestlers that need the shine, and they need the platform, and they need to be able to do their thing without this uncertainty of, we could be let go. Are we going to have tapings? What's on TV? Like, that shit all sucks.
Yeah, and I mean, there are a lot of wrestlers that I can think of over there that I think would do very well with WWE. Like Masha, I think Masha would do very well over there.
Yeah.
Leon Slater, he's another one I think would do very well. Chris Bay, they got a lot of wrestlers that could do well over there. But I don't know, just the idea of them having an even more bloated roster and then gobbling up a company that's gonna, then lay off a bunch of people. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't come to that. I want to see Masha in AEW though, so bad.
I want to see Masha doing more for sure. Even if it's just there in TNA, I just want to see her doing more.
I like Masha's my number one women's wrestler, I think. Like every time I watch another women's wrestler, I'm like, this is great. And then I see Masha and I'm like, oh my God, she's crazy. I want her in AEW. So, like, if I could pick one, if they're like, you just got one pick, nothing crazy, who is it? Masha. Bring Masha in. She's incredible.
Yeah. The funny thing out of this also, this led to a bunch of TNA wrestlers coming out and saying the crossover matches they want, seeing WWE wrestlers saying, hey, I would be interested in doing this. New Day were saying that they'd like to challenge for the TNA tag titles.
Pretty awesome.
The Rascals have been wanting to get back together anyway. So, getting kind of one last match with Trey Miguel and all the original members somewhere would be interesting.
Yeah.
I think Cedric also was saying that he wants to challenge for the X Division belt.
Yep.
There are a lot of stuff out there, and that stuff sounds cool. The idea of a TNA/WWE pay-per-view show sounds good, but
that'd be crazy.
How realistic is that? I don't know.
Like, we're shooting WWE. Historically, they just wouldn't do that. Things have changed a lot, but like, to give someone else that much shine, I'm interested to see if it'll happen,
Yeah, like when we talked about it on Ask Grapsody, and I've been thinking about it ever since. The idea of Josh Alexander wrestling Gunther, like,
yeah, that's the
come on, man. But
that
get the cat excited.
Yeah, seriously, like that is gonna go crazy. It could maybe help TNA. I think like the run that they're gonna have now and where NXT is and where it's gonna be, that crossover could potentially help TNA in the long run. If they get Josh Alexander, Rascals, Ace and Bay, people like that to be on the show, there's no way they can't convert those fans over.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. But hey, we shall see where this goes. Hopefully this ends in a good way for the wrestlers and the company.
Maybe we'll get in TNA interviews now.
Maybe.
We like interviews over here. We want to talk about your company. What's his name? Ross? I'll say his name out loud. Ross? You don't want to return our calls.
Hey, shout out to Ross. Chicago guy. Chicago zone.
We got more Humper chats, super chats. We definitely got more super chats.
Yeah, we got more over chat.
Oh man. Okay. Runner Mike Clip says, happy Grapsody, everyone. I wonder if TKO's influence could spill into WWE. If you know about the UFC, fighters don't get paid shit. I could easily see TKO looking at WWE and saying, why are we paying so much for the wrestlers? That's one thing I haven't really factored in this stuff that we've been talking about, Phil, is TKO has been making some cuts on the other side. And we haven't factored in if they're seeing these contracts and just being like, we don't want to.
Yeah, I think it'll take a minute. Because that's usually what comes with a merger. Layoffs will happen. But I think like the big stars that they can justify paying, I don't think they have anything to worry about. It's more of like mid-carders or people that are not on TV that probably would get left on the cutting room floor.
People that are going to be dealing with like Trevor Lee situations of you're going to be here forever, but actually we don't know. It's kind of crazy out here. Shout out to Running Mike Clips for that very generous super chat.
Bro, that Trevor Lee tweet this week was wild. That was wow.
Trevor Lee was letting them fly, huh? He said, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah, for context, if people did not see, the announcement came about that Gable Steveson will be joining the Buffalo Bills, correct? So the football team, Buffalo Bills. And right afterwards, Trevor Lee quote tweeted it and was being very spicy.
Yeah, you definitely want to check these tweets out because not a big fan of Gable Steveson that Trevor Lee is.
Yeah, right afterwards, somebody dropped that clip of him trying to do the, very, very stereotypical wrestling spot of the wrestler runs to the rope with the wrestler and then guy bumps him off. And then, like, Steveson backs off, and then he does, like, a backflip. And Trevor turns around, and he's just like, what are you doing? Like, so
why are you doing all this? That was not the spot, bro.
It looks so funny, man.
Somebody was like, oh, yeah, Gable's taking the Brock Lesnar route. I was like, he did it way different than Brock Lesnar. Like, you can't consider that wrestling run a Brock Lesnar route.
No, man. Brock actually had a good run.
Yeah.
No.
These things are way different, my brother. But good on him, I guess. I don't know. Van Twinblade says, Phil, you gonna make Reg watch Batman Beyond? No, probably not.
Oh, you should. It's a great show.
Is it on Tubi? I'll watch it if it's on Tubi.
I doubt very seriously that Warner Brothers is letting that be on Tubi.
Oh, it's Warner Brothers. That mean I can watch it on Max.
Probably on Max.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Despair and Ruin says MLB officially recognizing the Negro League stats, which is really dope after a gazillion years. It's been so long. Leonard Aaron's III, what we've all been thinking this week, Diddy is to hip hop what Vince is to pro grabs. 1000%.
Looking real nasty.
It's and I say both of those guys ruined both those things. It makes sense. It makes sense. This guy ruined pro wrestling. This guy ruined hip hop. In 1997, he killed hip hop. I fucking hate him. Lucky Charm says Punk costing Drew is plausible, but I could see JT Judgment Day costing Damian and Split finally happening with the Liv stuff tying into it. Finn is the mole.
Yeah, I could see that. But my question would then be, what are you going to do with Drew moving forward? Because it feels like only a matter of time before Gunther wins that belt. You're going to have him win at SummerSlam? It seems too soon.
I thought maybe Finn would have a shot at the world title with Damian being the champ, but at this rate, I can't see it fitting in there.
Yeah.
Chaos Control says, music-wise, does Diddy's situation been worse than R. Kelly for me? He is actively on the biggest songs of late 90s to early 2000s.
So a lot of stuff. He's produced a lot of things. He's had his hands in a lot of people's careers. There was an entrance at Double or Nothing where I was sitting there like, is this a reference to? Oh, great! It's a Warrior reference. That's what it is. Yep, great Warrior reference. Not that other thing at all.
Yeah, Chaos Control, I understand exactly what you're saying. It was a lot easier for me to just stop with R. Kelly stuff. It's like, oh, over there you're done, but like this guy's attached to so much hip hop, dude. It's crazy. Like in some way he was there or he coordinated, like it's deep. Hate him. Fucking hate him. Deontay Soignier says, "What's up, Grap fam? Hope y'all are good. Max really came back on my birthday. That piece of shit. Devil Nothing was great. NXT, TNA, Swerve, and Ospreay. Wrestling is so fun right now. Gonna catch up. Best of the Super Juniors and Stardom this week."
Yeah, I'm super behind on Best of Super Juniors.
Me too. It's almost over.
Yeah, it's almost over, y'all.
Will Chisholm says, "I think they do Roman versus Cody at SummerSlam, and that's when the Bloodline kills Roman." Yeah, they're on their way to kill him for sure. Glassdoor Gamer says Ospreay is just another level in the industry. Very different. We're going to get into Ospreay in a minute here. And then Leonard Aarons III says WWE is about to do TNA worse than what folks think AEW did to TNA during the pandemic. Impact there is on access, which most either don't have or can't find or care to. WWE's not sending anyone there.
Is it too early to say right now that TNA is benefiting more from this partnership with WWE?
I think it's too early to say.
I would say that Jordan and individual wrestlers have benefited. I don't know if I would say TNA has benefited.
Exactly, because kind of like what you were describing earlier, like Jordan's going to get a good contract probably, and like some good stuff's going to happen for her. But TNA, the brand, I don't know if they're directly benefiting from this.
Yeah, and I'm sure some people are starting a debate of AEW dropped the ball with their partnership and how this is helping TNA more. But I'd have to imagine sending your top main eventer, your top champion over there to be a part of their main event scene maybe helped TNA more than this did. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But they definitely didn't hold up that side of bringing wrestlers to AEW and doing these matches.
No. TNA definitely's got the wrong end of the stick a couple times here. So I think, probably in totality now with the buzz that's been around Jordan and kind of everything, this might be already a better benefit for them.
Yeah.
That's all of our super chats for now. Appreciate y'all.
Let's see, we got some more Humper chats from Tony P. He says, especially when I see fans' videos of the Anarchy in the arena during Final Countdown with the beach balls flying. It was a wrestling show and party. A lot of matches had some interference, but they all delivered in some fashion. Even the FTW match had a couple of moments. He said it was nice to see Moné wrestle again, and it seems like she will be making up for lost time. I'm curious what other matches will happen for Forbidden Door now that we know the first two. I want a top-tier shingle match. Here, he's got one more. He says, wait, did I read that one? Oh, no, I didn't. One more. He says, also those pictures from Mercedes after party were awesome. Too, since people were hating like hell, even Liv was getting some shine with Martin. Now we can talk about what is WWE's front office doing. That is definitely not a picture I expected to see. Liv Morgan on the red carpet for Bad Boys 4 with the belt standing next to Martin Lawrence. That was wild.
I've seen it all at this point. Yeah, that was one like, I guess like Martin and Liv together with Liv with the belt. That is definitely a WWE thing. And shout out to Liv for getting to already kind of, being that world championship status of being on red carpets, taking your belt places and stuff. Yeah, the Mercedes thing, I'm kind of sad I had to run out of Vegas so fast after the show because I could have been up in there. It looked like they were having a great time. Swerve was out there. They got their belts. They had cakes and stuff. It looked like they was having some fun.
At Sparklers, Ospreay was out, hanging around in the hallways doing the CEO dance. Money team was out there. The Moné dance was in the hallways. Like,
yeah,
come on, man.
The money teams and the Moné dance, man, it's crazy outside. Now it felt like it definitely when Anarchy in the arena kicked off. And I've been in venues where beach balls get involved, and usually it's because we're bored. But no, it's this time beach balls are happening because we're super into this match that is happening. So that's one of the funnest like matches, parties, venues that I've been in a while.
Yeah, we don't have to get a whole bunch into Double or Nothing because, as we stated earlier, both of us have done a review in some way. So
Yep.
I don't want to do a match by match thing. I think it was a good show. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought all of the women's matches hit.
Yeah.
I thought this was a really good night for women's wrestling, especially for 5 years in the company. I think they showed a lot of progress with what they're doing with the women's division. I think that's very, very good to see because a lot of people have been waiting a long time to feel this way. And to feel like we got a lot of progress. I thought the opening match was killer. I thought Roddy is Roddy, man. Like, Roddy was putting Ospreay through the ringer, man.
He was. Roddy was dragging his ass. Roddy's so underrated, and he's gotten caught up in like the story stuff, and he did the neck strong bit for a long time. But when that fucking bell rings, this guy's one of the best in the world, and he's not gonna let any wrestler have an easy day out there. Like, he was dragging Will Ospreay. Like, Ospreay's like, get off of me, and Roddy will smother your ass, chop you to death, backbreaker you. He's just such an imposing figure, and you forget because he gets involved in so many shenanigans.
Yeah, but man, what a great opener. Ospreay had a scary bump on the outside, but man, this match was so good. Great way to open the show. Then right afterwards, we got the return of Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Came out. He did a very Max bit. He had like the video of the hallway thing and the picture in the pocket, and it was cool. Then he came out and he confronted Adam Cole, who also came out. Adam Cole cut what started to be a promo, and then Max came out and interrupted, hoofed him in the balls, and threw him away. He also mimicked Hunter's big return to Madison Square Garden with the jean vest and the leather jacket. I thought that was a cool way for him to return, playing off of not just not just the fact that people think that maybe somebody still thought that he could end up over in WWE. I never thought that.
Nobody thought that.
But, some people thought that was a good play off of that. But also, it was kind of like, hey, man, who made you hot, bro? I didn't need Hunter to make me hot. I didn't need Vince to make me hot.
I made me hot. I'm this. There's this one episode of Seinfeld where Kramer's dating a black woman, and he's supposed to go meet her family. And so he feels a little too light, and so he goes to the tanning bed and he falls asleep inside of the tanning bed. So he's in there for like 6 or 7 hours. So he eventually meets his black girlfriend's family, and the dad sees Kramer and he's like, what the fuck? Why does his tan look like that? That's the exact feeling I had. Maxwell Jacob Friedman came out looking like he should be at the cookout. Why? What the fuck kind of tan is this, bro? Like, you taking me out of this moment. Like, step out of there. What happened here?
That tan was egregious. Like, I don't know what's going on with the spray tan, but the promo, I really like the promo. I think him bringing up all of the bidding war of 2024, which I had stopped believing in a long time ago. I assumed he was signed, and he let us know for sure he's signed. He did a very impetuous thing like his mentor Cody Rhodes and got a tattoo on his leg.
What side of the fence do you land on? Was this egregious or is this just...
I thought it was fine. This was a very Cody thing to do, and when you think of like 5 years of
Cody
AEW,
coded.
Yeah. When you think 5 years of AEW and one of the guys that have meant the most to this company for 5 years, it's absolutely Max. Max has been a big part of this company, whether it be the stuff with Cody, his stuff before he was a world champion, and then his run as a world champion. He's had like a pretty tumultuous run with the company. So
he's almost the most homegrown star that they have. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the mission statement of what this was going to be, and we're going to take the youngest and hungriest person and make him into a superstar. They did it. MJF is like, this is the prize that we created right here. So it makes sense for him to do the Cody bits and do all this thing. But yeah, I never believed for a second that he was going to leave because of exactly what we're describing here. He made his career here, and there's still so much for him to do. Like, he's done a lot here, but like, there's still everything else there that there's to do. So it was great to see him back. Like I said on the post show, a promo on a pay-per-view, not for me.
I like
hasn't changed.
I kind of after seeing that he wasn't doing anything on Dynamite, it does make you wonder why didn't they just save it for Dynamite. But I did think it made his return feel box office. I think it made it feel like a big deal because we don't get a chance to see some of these things on pay-per-views a lot. And for the stature of a star that Max is and what he means to this company and celebrating 5 years, for him to come back and get the big promo, I think it was cool. Probably could have saved it for Dynamite though. But I enjoyed the promo. I think all of the lines hit. I think the Wolf of Wall Street line at the end hit. The crowd was definitely into it.
Crowd was going bananas for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even like the tattoo and saying bet on yourself and having a chip, the tie to Double or Nothing. And I tweeted at the time, that's kind of the motto for most of the biggest stars that have come to AEW. All of them bet on themselves, and the origin of the company is Cody betting on himself at all in, and that's the start of this company. Double or Nothing and all the casino theme around it. It makes sense. I mean, when you think of John Moxley bet big on himself, and look where he is now. Swerve bet big on himself. Current AEW World Champion Kenny Omega took the bet to leave New Japan and come to AEW. There's so many other people.
Danielson, Adam Copeland, like you could go down the list at this point.
Tony Storm, many people like bet on themselves and went there and made something big for themselves. So I think that fits the spirit of this company. I feel like his story from 5 years on to this point fits the spirit of that company. I was really happy to see him back, man. And it seems like he let people know right away, like, I'm done with that being nice. I'm done with this, like, trying to be friends with people. Let's get back to the hate. And, buddy, I was here for it. I was like, yes, please just be a heel again. Yeah. I don't need any of this baby face stuff. I don't need you hawking the slogans and all the stuff at us. Get back to what you're best at. Be a heel, man. And
just come out here and talk shit, bro. We love Max for one reason. He comes out here and does the promos, but then he backs it up in the ring, and that's the draw of this. Like we've been saying for the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of people like, well, where's Max going to fit in? They got all these new people. Like, Max is going to fit in like a fucking glove here. If anything, it's going to make him up his game because he has to compete with all these other people, which is going to make everything better. So I'm super excited to see him back because I want to see him against the new Copper guys. I want to see him against Okada. I want to see him against Ospreay. I want to see him out there doing the things that we've seen him do for a while. And there's a lot of, like I said, there's still a lot of stuff for him to do in AEW. I think this is pretty great.
Yeah. Really excited to see him back. We got the news on Dynamite that his first feud is probably going to be Roosh, which sounds fire.
Such a big Roosh fan. I'm always been wanting him to be in a position and to get into a feud. And if he's going to be Max's first feud, fucking perfect.
Yeah. He's been picking up wins over the last few weeks, so makes sense.
And he's still like, when the bell rings and Roosh gets into that, I don't know if this is real, if he's really beating this guy's ass. It's like, there's nobody better.
Yeah. Like I said, I thought all of the women's matches delivered. Tony Storm versus Deeb was very good. Serena Deeb is very good at wrestling, if you guys did not know.
Yes.
This was
I didn't know
reminder
if the crowd was ready for the type of match that they were working, but I loved it. I thought Deeb was like in her fucking bag, man. She was wrapping Tony Storm up, putting her in different positions, having her out of her comfort zone. But Tony Storm is just incredible at all of this. She's really started to play that in peril defensive coming back from behind, and like she's top notch.
Yeah, I think the Tony title defenses have gotten much better over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Because that was the knock against her for a bit, but her matches I think have vastly improved.
The first couple of them, I was like, I don't know, you guys. Like the character wasn't matching up to the championship status, but now it all matches up. Like she's the best, one of the best characters in the company, man or woman.
One of the other big talking points, other than Max's return and some other stuff we'll get into in a minute, was Adam Copeland deciding to hop off the top of this cage, and now he is unfortunately injured. This was very scary watching it. When it happened, I was like, why did he do that? What happened? Why did he do that? Yeah, as soon as it happened, I was like, I hope he's okay. And as the match went on, I was like, okay, he's still wrestling on it, so maybe it's fine. And then when he was getting out of the ring, I was like, oh, I don't know, that don't look good. Um,
Bro, I happened to take my bathroom break during the spot. I didn't see the spot live. Yeah, so I can't, like, I didn't know about it legit till we did the post show. And Denise was like, "You didn't see it?" I'm like, "I don't know what happened," because it seemed, it's like you said, he worked the rest of it after that, and it seemed fine to me. But then I watched the video and I was like, "Oh my God, why did he do that?"
Yeah, it looked very scary because I mean, he climbed up there and he stood there for a minute like he didn't know what he wanted to do, and I was sitting there like, okay, he's gonna do a splash, because we've seen so many wrestlers, of course, Cody, famously hopped up there and did the moonsault. We've seen Sting climb up on top of tall things, come down and do the big splash. I thought he was gonna do a splash, and so when he came down feet first, I was like, what?
You can see him falling like bad idea, bad idea, bad idea. Then he hits and you're like, awful idea. That was, it looked like he might have been trying to hit an elbow drop or I don't know.
Yeah, and the match was going well. I still enjoyed the match. Gangrel coming out was heat. Those DDTs he was hitting were fire. Big pop for it. I thought his interests and everything were good. I thought Malachi looked great in it. Enjoyed this match, but I was just like, why did you do this?
I don't know what. You've done it all, dude. We got years of highlights of you jumping off ladders, spears and shit. John Cena. You did it, dude. We don't need that from you. We don't.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen people say, because the spot is that Malachi's wrapped in barbed wire and he's on top of the table. So maybe he was like tentative about doing the splash onto the barbed wire, but I was just like, what?
A couple of scars are a lot better than fucking blowing out your whatever he did.
Sounds like he the report is that he broke his fibula. I think that's the report. It's either a fibula or it's an ankle injury. I don't have it in front of me.
It's bad. Yeah, whatever it is bad. And yeah, just like I'm saying, you don't need that, dude. You're a legend. You got all the highlights. Like, you could have still did this. This match would have been just as heat without that big dive. And so I guess wrestlers, sometimes you want to up the ante. He maybe heard about what's about to happen in the main event. Like, he's like, let me get my big moment. And like, yeah, I understand, but we just don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah. They're saying in our chat that he broke his tibia.
Dude.
Ouch.
Fucking ouch.
But yeah, yikes. Hopefully quick recovery for him. I have been enjoying his run with the company.
Me too.
So, speedy recovery. Get well soon.
I thought the Cope Open was heat, man. I liked him going in there with these young people. I listened to that interview where he's like, I've been trying one new thing in every match. Like, it seems like he was on some different motivation. So this is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. We did not need this spot.
Not at all. 0%.
We did not need this spot. And I thought the match, like I said, I thought the match was good besides that. I thought for the show, selling us on this triple main event, which, there's one main event. There's the match that comes at the end. That's the main event. But I like the idea of selling us on triple main event, having 3 big matches. And all the 3 big matches that end the show were really great. I thought that the title match was very good. Swerve versus Christian Cage over-delivered, in my opinion.
It did.
Some of the spots were very memorable. That house call to counter that spear was
brother. The accuracy and timing it takes to execute that.
Yeah, that's up there with one of the best house calls I've seen him do. There's also that house call he did on the outside to Darby, I believe. Really, really good. Yeah. I thought the swerve stomp he hit on the announce table also was really great.
Oh, yeah, that standing one. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, that was also really great. That's when we saw Floyd Mayweather in the crowd behind commentary. That was really cool to see him there for the title match in Vegas. Really, really cool moment. Really strong match. I thought Swerve's entrance was great. Like I said, I was worried when he started doing when Nana came out and was doing the bottles, I was like, great, it's a Warriors. That's right, Warriors reference. Nothing else. Nothing else to reference here.
Definitely not the beginning of a Craig Mack song. Not at all. Stay away from this.
Yeah, but I thought it was a really strong match. I enjoyed Swerve and Christian as a feud as well. I think it was a good way to play off of Swerve's time as a heel.
Mhm.
And I thought that they got some really good storytelling in the bits coming up to this match and the match itself.
Yeah. That's what probably was my favorite thing about it is like when they initially announced Christian, people were like, well, why? And then they just totally made sense with tying in the Nick Wayne stuff. I'm your dad. That fucking bit they showed like a video package and they recreated one picture of Christian and Nick Wayne with creating Nick Wayne and his dad, and I just died. Like Christian in this whole situation was great. Nick Wayne was amazing in it. Mama Wayne looked great. Of course, you guys know what's going on here. I thought all of it was really great. For a first feud, having a veteran like Christian, I thought for Swerve was perfect. Swerve's gear, that little video package that they did leading up to his entrance was great too. Like I said it a few times this week, I saw so many Swerve's House shirts this week, Phil, like just throughout Vegas. And I was like, that's dope. Like you got like, there's being over, there's being on TV, there's being champion, but like seeing people in the merch, seeing people like actually like these, you know, whoever it is being presented is a different level. And seeing somebody that, you know, you've seen come up being one of the most over guys, and anytime they say whose house, everybody says Swerve's house. It's one of the most over things there. It's been a crazy transition for him, and like I'm just so happy that he's in that position now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, being there in St. Louis, just out of this world. Like I'm telling you, walking up the street and hearing people chanting "Whose house, Swerve's house," in line to get in there, and like seeing the signs, like getting inside there and hearing the "Whose house, Swerve's house" chants before the show even started. And it was the same thing this time. I was sitting here watching the pre-show and you could hear the Swerve chants before the show even started. And that's one of those things where I say all the time, like, the internet is not a good barometer for what's happening at these shows. And at the shows, Swerve is very much over, man.
Yeah, because the internet is trying to say that kind of the same thing about Cody's reign on Swerve is like, oh, it's not like he was coming into it. They're not booking him that well. They're not blah, blah, blah. But like you're saying, all the fans in the arena are going ham. They love Swerve. They don't care about what the internet is saying. They don't care about that shit. This is the world champion and he's fucking over.
Yeah. I I get people's tendency to, be leery when it's a black champion. And I see like
we've been burned before, Phil, burned hard,
Yeah. And so I see the criticisms, but I think his reign has been going well. I think, there's missteps there, but it's nothing that I'm like, oh, this reign has been terrible so far. I just don't agree.
The thing that people are saying are missteps they're like, oh, he was the first match on the like, I'm like, you guys are fucking grasping at straws at this point.
Yeah, I think people trying to say something like, oh, well, he didn't end this show. He wasn't going to end this show when somebody got set on fire.
You can't.
He wasn't going to end the show.
As people were saying about the Mercedes and Willow, I'm like, you guys, somebody got set on fire. You can't have a regular match after that.
Yeah. And, I've seen people trying to do, all right, as soon as they made a black champion, they did main event. I'm like, but the big selling point for this show was a black woman. That was the first match announced. And the main event, even if you don't buy into the concept of a triple main event, on all the promotional material, Swerve and Mercedes are right in the front.
Right there. Mm-hmm.
All of the chairs for the show have Mercedes on them.
Every billboard and sign that I saw in Vegas, they were right there front and center.
Yeah, so I don't really buy into that. I mean, even if you get into stuff on Dynamite and then promoting House of Dragon, they're using their champion to promote House of Champions.
Exactly. Swerve.
I don't know. But yeah, I thought that match was very good. Of course, Anarchy in the Arena continues to be very fun every year. Had a lot of fun with this match. The music this year
was insane.
Final Countdown, man. That crowd when Final Countdown. that crowd was fantastic.
I didn't know what was happening at first because Brian, they go through the bit, they're doing the everybody's going through their thing, and Brian gets on the mic and says, "Play the greatest fucking song of all time." And at first you could barely hear it because everybody's fucking rocking. And then I'm like, "Oh shit, this is Final Countdown." And so when we all realize it's Final Countdown, Phil, man.
That crowd, the crowd got very loud. Darby hitting the big splash like soon as Final Countdown hit.
Man.
So good. Just such a fun match. I think the Elite are good at these kind of spectacles. They're good at playing into like the internet wrestling crowd. They're good at playing into like a lot of the if you know, wink wink humor.
Yeah.
I thought Okada was great here.
Okada with the street sign.
He was fantastic here. Brian was great here. Jack was like one of the breakout stars of this match. Just getting set on fire, but like some of the big spots he hitting Darby Allin with a bus.
I'm like, wait, you could do that? He tried to kill this man.
Yeah, but I thought all the Anarchy in the Arena stuff hit. I think all the energy that we get usually from these kind of big spectacle matches with AEW, all of this stuff really hit for me.
Yeah.
Really fun. And man, I think last year, as much as people complained about the Vegas crowd, they brought it this year, man. Vegas crowd was exceptional this year.
That's a fact. Denise and I talked for a whole year how trash last year was because we were there and we are like, that was just bad. We weren't ready, blah, blah, blah. This year was completely different. Yeah. Night and day crowds, excited from the first match all the way into the last match and giving up just as much energy for the Anarchy in the arena match as they did for the first match. I mean, they helped by having a bunch of insane shit going on. And like I said, it was a party with the beach balls and the music. People booed when they turned the music off. And I've never been in a crowd where they're like, no, turn the music back on. Like, that's just not really a thing that usually happens. Darby getting fucking all of his kinks off in this match with the fire and being hung and kicked in the face with thumbtack shoes. I'm like, no, Darby is just getting off today.
I literally was sitting there with my hand over my face when he got kicked in the face because he got kicked clean in the face. I was like, oh my God, this guy just came back with a face mask on from having his nose broken. And I was sitting there like, there's no way his nose is not re-broken. And he put that picture out and I was like, bro.
That was one of the nastiest double super kicks I've ever seen. And it's just his head. He can't block. Like, I'm like, oh my God, not only is he hung from the ceiling, but didn't you guys kill him when he's up there too? And so Darby's hanging for like, it feels like 5 to 6 straight minutes, Phil. And so the crowd eventually is like, please get Darby down, dude. Like, help him. This is crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun. Overall, great show. Mercedes versus Willow. I think people coming in were wondering, can this possibly live up to the hype of Mercedes not wrestling for 2 months? Turns out this woman is still very good at wrestling. Go figure. This match was incredible. I thought her entrance was great. The atmosphere for it was really, really good. I knew that the crowd was going to respond well to Willow based on the build to this, but she got a very big pop when she came out. To get that kind of pop and she's wrestling Mercedes, to get like the 50-50 crowd reactions, I thought that was really good. In saying what this pay-per-view did for women's wrestling with AEW, to see that kind of atmosphere for a women's match was really, really cool. And I thought both women deserved it. Willow wasn't champion long, but I thought she was a great champion when she was. I thought that she had come a long way in terms of like her mic skills, her character work. I'm sure people are going to do the whole, well, she lost here and this sucks for her. I think she's going to be just fine. I think that she benefited the most of anyone from Mercedes being in the company. But this was great. I think, man, from start to finish, the way they worked this match was, man, fire.
I think that Willow losing benefited her more than anything. Like when people are like, oh, I'm like, yo, I think it made her even bigger star coming off of what she done, the story that they told. And then coming into the show, some people were like, oh, it's going to be like Willow's going to have a big fanfare. And I was like, I don't know, man. Mercedes first match back. I've been in New Japan shows with Mercedes fans and they don't fuck around. But nah, bro, Willow's fans were outside, and I think it just goes to show, Phil, AEW crowds love their homegrown stars so much.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you do. If you show us a start to finish wrestler and they're awesome and we love them, we'll go right behind them before we ride behind anybody, especially somebody from another company. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of where Mercedes is my favorite woman wrestler of all time, a lot of people are just like, that's the WWE woman. And like, they're always going to be behind her. But it just showed me like AEW love their homegrown so much and they will ride to the end of the fucking earth with them. Like, the crowds were, there was points where Willow was getting more chants than Mercedes. And I'm like, this is insane. But I think beyond that, it just goes to show how great both women's wrestlers are, because this match was awesome. Mercedes is such a great big match wrestler. Like, we're going to talk about Dynamite here in a bit, and she's incredible. She was incredible on Dynamite. But when it comes to like, here's a huge main event, everything's on the line, all eyes on you, the lights are on you, like it's a main event moment. It's not a lot of people better than Mercedes, dude. The way that she builds to her spots, the way that she builds sympathy on her and the person that she's wrestling, just like her heart and will to, like, she's a heel, you want to boo her, but then like her moveset's so great. It's like you go through so many emotions with her matches. I'm so happy that she's officially back in the ring, because like I said, coming into this, people were saying she should wrestle. What's this? Why hasn't she worked? She's overrated. She's all these things. But when the bell rings, you forget about all that because she is as great as she says.
Yeah, and I mean, I personally probably wouldn't have waited 2 months to have her wrestle.
Probably
but
not.
I do think it built a lot of anticipation for this match, and I do think it felt like a bigger deal because it happened at a pay-per-view.
Yep.
And they delivered. They delivered big time. I think after a long time of not seeing Mercedes wrestle, you forget how she sells, and some of her sells, I'm just like, oh my god, like
I'm saying,
like the spot on the apron where she gets slammed on the apron, the way she folds up, I was like, oh my god, get up.
Yo, the pounce sell. Yo, I'm
Yes.
like, Mercedes is nuts with her selling and bumps, dude.
Yeah, she definitely made Willow look like $1 million here. For the first few minutes of the match, Mercedes was really losing. She was getting dominated. Willow looked like the stronger competitor. She was using her power game early on. Then Mercedes started to work the ankle, trying to go back to the storyline from New Japan of, hey, you injured my ankle there, I'm going to injure your ankle here. I thought that was a really good way to pay that off. That modified figure 4 she pulled off looked so cool. She just does so many small things that work. The meteor to the outside was, man, clean. And the thing that I like the most about it, we see a lot of times where they'll do a spot or a finish to protect the other wrestler. And I kind of figured like Willow wasn't just going to come out of here and just lose. But they did a great job of protecting Willow. Willow had this match won. If the ref wasn't distracted, this is a win. This is a win for Willow. And so I wouldn't say exactly that she didn't lose clean here. She still basically lost clean, but there was enough doubt here to say, hey, if that didn't happen, Mercedes loses this match.
Exactly.
And I think
she didn't get squashed. Like, she was in it up until the last moment.
Yeah, and I thought that was good. I thought all of the Statlander stuff with Stokely at the end worked. But Mercedes is our new TBS champion. I think that was the right outcome. There was no way that I thought coming into this Mercedes was going to lose her first match.
You guys.
But yeah, this was really, really good. Already considered by people one of the best AEW women's matches ever. But that's just a testament to how good Mercedes is. I was saying while I was watching it, it's just really crazy. This woman goes everywhere and does this. All the way in Japan, putting on fire matches, comes all the way back here. Her fans will follow her wherever she goes. It's just really wild to watch. Like, a black woman wield this kind of popularity in wrestling. It's so dope, man. So really, really happy for her. Great match. The other story people were running with is that this was the longest longest AEW singles women's match. I don't know if the numbers for that are true. I haven't done the research. I don't know. It doesn't. I think again, it's a good thing from a progress standpoint, but I'm not really a stopwatcher, so I don't really care about the length of the match, as long as the match is good. And this match delivered. And I mean, if I'm thinking about it, there are probably other shorter matches that I think are probably better in terms of like AEW.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't care about the time in the match. It's not really
like they got the moment, they got the opportunity, they excelled and they killed it. Like I don't care about how much time it was. Like, did they execute what they needed to do in that amount of time? Yeah, Mercedes is over, Willow was over. They got the stat thing out. Like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that a big part of where women's wrestling is right now is a lot of people are trying to get away from this criticism that started during the Divas era. And because, the matches were so short and, it was such a creative misstep in a lot of ways for WWE, that's the way a lot of critics judge women's wrestling from then on. Like, oh, did they get time? How much promo time did they get? Like, what story elements went into it? That's fine. I think, like I said, long as the match is good, long as they told a good story, long as there's stuff from here to take moving forward. And I think that's the strongest takeaway about the women's division from this pay-per-view is not just that the matches were good, but there was so much story stuff that they built to keep an eye on moving forward. Even from the pre-show, Deonna and Thunder was a good match, but the story's not done there. There's more to keep up with. Like the Tony and Deeb match, there's still story stuff to keep up with from that one because you got the Mariah stuff, and from this one we got the Mercedes run and we got Statlander and Willow moving forward. And I think that's like we weren't getting that before. We were just getting one and done matches,
and we can still run Mercedes versus Willow part 3 too.
I think we're eventually going to get back to this, but as far as people that were like Willow should have won and this ruins her, I think she's fine. I think this makes her even stronger as a babyface, in my opinion. But it's also going to make the big win when she wins the big belt mean even more. I think she's got enough accolades under her belt, even if they're short-lived, that once she gets up to that big belt, she's going to feel even more credible.
Yeah, whenever that win is, the build up to that is going to be huge. After hearing how the crowd was against a superstar in Mercedes and knowing how strongly the AEW fans wanted Willow to win, there were people that were like devastated that Willow lost, that were screaming and yelling for Mercedes not to win. Like, it's going to be gigantic when she gets that spot. But yeah, I think that's probably the best part is everything that kind of spawned off of this. It's like it wasn't just these one and done matches. Now you got 2 and 3 stories coming off of each feud. It's like it's really great to see like someone saying that their matches accumulated an hour's worth of Double or Nothing, which I think is great. And I think both of the women's championships coming into Forbidden Door with the matches are going to be a Forbidden Door. We're going to go even higher with the women's division here soon.
Yeah, hopefully so. But yeah, strong pay-per-view all around. Really, really good in-ring debut for Mercedes, which I don't think anybody should be shocked by.
We're not surprised by that at all. I think we have one super chat, which is going to kind of lead us to the final thing we're talking about here. Delayed Grat says, you think Swerve beats Ospreay at Forbidden Door?
Yes. I do think he's going to beat him. But yeah, that is the big news coming out of Dynamite. Swerve had the House of Dragons match early in the night, and people were like, "Oh, why is he not main eventing? Like, why didn't they put the?" And 2 hours later, we knew why he didn't main event.
Yeah, right.
So did main event. He started the show by retaining the title, and then they had the Casino Gauntlet to end the night, and I thought the Gauntlet match was great.
So fire. Oh my god, insane. Like, they've only done this concept a couple of times, but this time, I don't know, it felt different. Like, everybody was going 100%. The surprises were all great. I thought it was super interesting how right before it, people were, Denise was like, we were waiting for Max all night, and right before the match they were like, Max is gonna be here next week, which kind of set up like he wasn't gonna be in this match. But it was still it didn't matter as soon as the match got kicked off.
Yeah, I thought the match was very fun. I thought the surprises we got were great. Shota Umino showed up. Lio Rush showed up. I was very excited to see Lio.
I think my homie Shota might have heard me talking shit because he looked on fire on Dynamite.
He was great. Shota Umino looked great. I was super excited to see Lio Rush. Big fan of his AEW theme, and so as soon as his AEW theme hit, I was like, "Yes, let's go!" He's gonna be on Collision tonight, wrestling Roddy Strong. Oh man, super excited for that.
Go, brother. I'm so excited to see Lio back. Like seeing him in that match is awesome. Anytime he gets to do that Lio Spider-Man, I'm all over the ring evasive shit. I'm all in, and he got to shine here. The fans are really into him. He felt confident. This is great. They announced a match at him and Roddy tonight, man. Like, I'm so happy for Lio.
Resign Lio, man.
Resign.
I'm officially on the campaign. Resign Lio, man.
Easy. I'm sure him and Rod are going to tear it up tonight, so it's going to be another notch in his belt. But yeah, the rest of that fucking shit was crazy. Hechicero was in the building. Mystico got a big pop out there. I thought Claudio was out there killing it. Orange Cassidy got some good spots in it. Like, this was fun.
Yeah, really fun match. But of course, Will Ospreay won the match, so he will be Swerve's opponent for Forbidden Door, buddy. I at one point felt a little bit of FOMO because I didn't get to go to Vegas. I initially planned to go to Vegas.
You did,
and I was like, all right, well, New York should be fun. I haven't been to New York in over a decade. It's my birthday weekend. And I was like, I'm probably going to get some fun New Japan matches. Big fan of New Japan here. And I haven't been to Forbidden Door since the first one, which took place at United Center. And I was like, this looks great. Buddy, when that announcement went out, I was like, we're out of here, buddy. Now, it wasn't, I was rubbing my hands together for a while because I could see the writing on the wall for certain things. And I have been campaigning for this match for about 3 years at this point.
Yeah.
Before Swerve went there, I was like, hey,
before he was there.
When are we getting this match again? Swerve signed. I was like, all right, great. Forbidden Door this year, right? We're getting this Ospreay match, right? Nope. We ended up getting Orange Cassidy versus Ospreay, and that match killed. Yeah, but I was like, hey, cool. But when are we getting Swerve versus Ospreay? Because that's the match I want. Swerve, I have tweeted this guy, hey, man, this is the match I want you in. I've told this guy personally to his face, hey, this is the match I want you in. We did an interview. I said an interview. And I was like, hey, when are you wrestling this guy? Because that's the match I want to see you in. Wembley, right?
Pretty much every time that clip of them dancing against each other at Rev Pro comes up, it's always like, well, when's the match? Well, when's the match? Well, when's the match?
When's the match? I've been saying this, yeah. And so all this time, I've been waiting. When's the match? Turns out this match will happen on June 30th, the day that I came into the world, 1985. We're here now, buddy. Swerve versus Ospreay in New York City. I will be in the building. Super excited for this, buddy. I could not help but again sit in my home and say, I don't know what I did to do this, but I won again. I win again.
Listen, I don't know how. I'm gonna start a GoFundMe. If anybody needs any work done, they need a rap verse, send it to me because I'm trying to get to New York. This is insane. I can't believe this. Yeah. This week has been funny because a lot of people, the thing surrounded it has been, is it too soon? Is it too soon? Are they already doing this? Phil just described 3 years worth of buildup for this. This ain't too soon. This match has been on the horizon for so long. You get two of the best wrestlers in the entire world. One of these guys, people are like, that's him. He's him. Will Ospreay. That's the best wrestler there is. Number one, against the AEW World Champion Swerve, who is also in his prime. Do the fucking match now. I don't want to wait. I don't care about waiting, dude. You got him right now. Let's roll. Let's do it.
Buddy, when he did the interview with us and he explained like his relationship with Ospreay, slept on his parents' couch when he went over to UK, like their relationship, how he sees him on a brother. He just had him on his podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know how we've gotten this lucky that not just Ospreay wrestling in the United States now on a regular basis and smoking it, having fire matches every single time out. But the guy that I've wanted him to wrestle for 3 years now, he is going to wrestle him. Coming straight in the door soon as this guy signed. Hey, when is he challenging for the AEW World Championship?
First day.
Because he's super over. You got to make this guy champion. And I hated that the second Swerve became champion, we're still like, oh, well, Ospreay's going to win that belt this year. Hold on. So I think it's a smart move because I think that was going to linger over Swerve's reign moving forward because so many people want to see him win. And I think you got to get this match out the way for Swerve. And I think Swerve has to win, man, because I think if you want to put over just how important Swerve is to the company now and just what this championship reign means, I think it makes a lot of sense for him to be the guy to hand Ospreay his first loss.
Facts. Yeah, this was gonna linger over. It was already lingering before. And as soon as Ospreay got to the company, they were like, "Well, when's he gonna be champion? Where's he gonna be champion?" This was gonna linger over Swerve's reign the whole time.
Yeah.
People have been talking about this match, so you got to do it. And I think Ospreay's such a strong talent that the loss isn't gonna do anything. It's only gonna enhance the win that he eventually gets. And we can run this back. They're not gonna, again, it's not a one and done thing. Like, oh, they're gonna do it at Forbidden Door and we're never gonna see it again. No, this could be like a fucking generational feud. Like, this could be the start of something amazing. Like, this is perfect timing, I think, for Swerve's reign, because you want to start to build that resume. And if you got who many people consider to be the best of the world on your resume, then like I think this reign's going pretty well.
Yeah, really excited for Swerve, really excited for what this means for him. I know that that's a match that, you know, he can always go back to. They just tagged together like less than a year ago.
Yep.
Yeah, God, words don't express how excited I am. Like the fact that this is happening on my birthday, I'm just like over the moon. Like this is perfect. This is everything I wanted. Just amazing, man. Just thinking
and
about
the fucking no, go ahead.
But just thinking about how this year went and just being in the building for Swerve's win, and then just thinking like the match that I've been hounding this guy about, like, I want you to get this match. He's going to get it. I'm going to be there. Just, how awesome is that?
Yeah, definitely. Again, to answer your question, Delayed Grats, we both think Swerve is going to beat Ospreay. Like, we don't think it's needed. He has to.
I think he has to.
Yeah. But there is also a world we could play devil's advocate where Ospreay could go over.
Ospreay can win. And I think it would be cool to see him with both those belts. But I just think it's too soon for Swerve to lose.
Yeah. And not too soon for Ospreay to lose.
No, I think you can do things with this if Ospreay loses. Because you're telling the story already that he doesn't want to do the Tiger Driver, and you can play it off the hesitance of him to do the Tiger Driver, and that could lead to his loss. But man, just how are we getting this match this soon? How are we getting where I want it to happen? I just talked to somebody that lives in the UK like last weekend, and he's like, hey, that match is happening in Wembley. And I was like, it could. Selfishly, I want it to happen here so I can see it, though. And he messaged me as soon as it was announced. He was like, how do you keep doing this? I was like, I don't know, but we're here now, baby. We're here.
And beyond that, this shit is all the shenanigans, everything, who should win and lost. This match is about to be insane. It's fucking Swerve and Will Ospreay.
It's gonna hit, man. Super excited.
But I was saying on top of that, the tease that we got with Mercedes this week, also on Dynamite for her potential Forbidden Door match. I'm like, if that match is on there too, oh my god.
Yeah, I think they did the right thing this week. They had her open the show, and they immediately got rid of the mystery attacker thing. I thought that was the right move. We do not need that to linger on. Just answer the question and move on. This kind of signaled also that Mercedes is very much a babyface because she was getting cheered here. And Sky was very much the heel coming in and attacking her. I thought Sky looked good here. That little spot of her with the belt and her knee over Mercedes' neck, and Mercedes was like kicking her little feet in the air. I thought that looked good. And the match hit. The match was fire.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say about the Double or Nothing match. Mercedes is such a big match wrestler that builds and could get sympathy from all moments, but she's also just let's have a dope match on Dynamite with a young, hungry up and comer, because this match with Sky was awesome. Sky, of course, has been completely improving on every situation, but it feels like she's been studying Mercedes, which is like, of course she does. Like, why wouldn't she study Mercedes? But Mercedes is She's so good, man. The way that she could add in a little quickness in here. She tries to add some lucha. She's so good, man. I love that match. It was awesome. Her finish starts to look better and better. I still get a little bit like, I don't know, maybe she get a different one, but the one she hit on Sky was pretty good.
I feel like the Moneymaker it's a good finish, but it always depends on the opponent to sell it correctly.
That's the thing.
And I thought it looked good this time because Sky Blue sold it really well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say that it was Willow's fault or anybody else's fault when it hasn't looked good before. But I think it's a communication thing. You have to have like it's such an intricate move where you got to spin out of it and then sell, and it's like not everybody is gonna have the timing right.
And wrestlers never factor in, like, she probably practiced that move a gazillion times, but like not tired, not after having just done a match for 20 minutes. Like the coordination that you have to do is so tight that like that's why I'm like, maybe she get a new finish, because every time is going to be a mystery. Like maybe this person's going to make it look good, maybe this person's going to look crazy. That's just too much room for error for me.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, there was a point during the pay-per-view match where I was like, listen, man, maybe Mercedes should just do the crossface and nobody else should do it, because her transition into it are fucking incredible.
Right? yeah. Maybe that should just be it, because she always transitions super insane into it. Man, she's just really good. I'm thinking about the double or nothing ankle work that she was doing. I'm like, man, nobody does it like Mercedes, dude.
Bro, and I mean, the transition into the Moneymaker in the pay-per-view match was also really good.
That was fire.
I thought her coming over like she was going to do the sunset powerbomb and then actually lifting Willow up and walking forward with it. I thought that looked really good. And the counter on Dynamite also looked good. The counter out of the cold blue into it, I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
And we got right afterwards, Stephanie Vaquer came out, and it looks like that's going to be the match heading into Forbidden Door. Stephanie Vaquer has been killing it. Of course, this is also a rematch from the pay-per-view where Mercedes got injured, because Mercedes beat Stephanie on that card to go to the finals for the then vacant New Japan Strong Women's Championship, the belt that Stephanie now holds.
Full circle.
And I think that's gonna be a strong match.
Yeah, totally. Stephanie, I saw her work the show in Ontario against Alex Windsor, and seeing her live and up close and I was at the Mercedes match too, but she wasn't as polished as she is now. She really gets it. The way that she kind of absorbs the fans and the moment, and never looks like she's off of her game, and it's just 100% I'm in here to kill this person and take my championship home. So great. She's going to work amazingly against Mercedes. I think the atmosphere in Forbidden Door is going to be crazy.
Yeah, very excited for that. I thought the things that worked on Dynamite really hit. Like I said, this match was good. The opening was good. The gauntlet match was good. The Jericho stuff still ain't for me, but yeah.
It has to be for me, Phil.
I don't know who it's for, but it just... I
have to make it for me because somebody I like's really involved.
Yeah.
And just seeing him stand there, I'm like, it's a gift and a curse. It's like, yo, prominent position. Everyone has talked about him this week, but it's been attached to that was a terrible segment. So it's like, I don't know what to... I don't know where to land with it.
I want to be excited about Brian Keefe getting more TV time, but we've seen how this works for other wrestlers that get more TV time next to this guy.
You just said TV time 2 times already. His thing's working.
I'm so worried. I'm so worried for Brian Keefe. This segment was so bad, and it wasn't in a... I want Jericho to take some time off. This segment was just bad. It just was not good.
Yeah. Not like Jericho's War Out of Swag was like, what the fuck is this? Turn this off. Anytime like they got to set up a set, like if you're setting up a set with props and shit, like we're already in the wrong position. Because as soon as it came on, people were like, what the fuck is this shit? Why is there a big giant tree in the ring? And but like I said, BK's on TV. He was on Rampage. He probably will be on Collision. Like, could it hurt? Yeah, I guess it could.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I thought Rampage was also strong this week. We got a pretty good Tony Storm match with Viva Van.
Yeah.
We got a hot match to start with Penta taking on who's the Rampage match?
Penta was Takeshita.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
Takeshita beat Penta to move on and advance to the ladder match for the vacant TNT title. Very excited for that. Wouldn't be mad if Takeshita is our next TNT champion. I think
not at all. He could be the one.
Yeah, I thought the Phoenix Isaiah Cassidy match was also strong. All around pretty good episode of Rampage.
Yeah, they have been executing some pretty, like, that's a sicko show. That and the Collision show that are happening are like, if you really like wrestling, this is for you. I thought it was a really strong episode. I didn't know about the time thing. I hope that they get back to their regular scheduled program, because I kind of missed the show yesterday because I thought it was coming on at a regular time.
Yeah, I ended up having to rewatch it because I didn't realize it came on earlier, so I missed it. So I had to go and rewatch it.
Yeah. But yeah, kicking off into some high gears. We got a couple of super chats on AEW too. Jay Hayes says AEW often gets criticized for too many titles, but do you think AEW doesn't get enough credit for booking so many titles and prominent positions?
Yeah, I think it's mostly like the 3 secondary belts, where they're kind of having an issue of giving them enough time and like differentiating them. And at the TNT title, the international title, and the Continental Classic belt. I think that's just, they're going to have an issue moving forward of like doing enough to separate those 3 belts.
Exactly, because those are kind of like the bread and butter of, they're going to get defended the most often because that's kind of what they represent. And they have to differentiate them in such a way that they're all seem worth it. Like Okada being the Continental Champion is great, and it makes sense and it makes them look great, but like, is that championship going to be defended more? Like, what's going to be the identity of the belt?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they do beyond that, they do a pretty good job of booking as many championships as they have. Do they have too many? Probably.
Yeah. Okada was also very, very, very great on Dynamite this week.
Oh, Okada killed me on Dynamite.
the Lambo stuff was really, really funny.
He's like, oh my God.
There were so many things about that segment that were funny. I know some people are not going to like the dueling authority figure thing. It feels very WWE, but there were so many things about it that were funny. When they got ready to just give Jack the title, and Jack climbed up on the top rope and did like pose. I died laughing because he was dead serious. It was so funny.
No, he was waiting for his belt. He didn't care about nothing. No, it was some pretty good bits, but then like Christopher Daniels I'm like, man, he looks like Adam Pearce too. I don't know if this is like you're gonna have an authority figure that looks just like the other 4.
Yeah, so funny, man.
Leonard Aarons III says MJF got dressed up like 2002 Triple H to tell 2024 Triple H in not so many words, he's not fucking leaving.
That is really funny. I didn't even think about that. That is funny.
He dressed up as 2002 Triple H to tell 2024 Triple H, I'm not coming. That's crazy. But Triple H known for a while that he wasn't coming.
Yeah.
And then I think our last super chat of the day is going to be from Delayed Gratz, who says, what do you think about WWE's partnership with TNA, Joshi Pro, etc.? They learn to work with others, or they're usually to divide, raid, and conquer tactic? Like, do you think this is their real true partnerships, or is it going to be historically what we see where they take all the great competitors from there?
I don't see any scenario where they don't also raid certain people from these companies. Like we said earlier, I think Jordan will end up being a WWE wrestler within the next 2 years.
Totally.
But yeah, I think it's a good thing for wrestling. It makes wrestling feel more exciting and unpredictable at the moment. But you also got to credit AEW for that, because AEW started that momentum in that direction. And I don't think there's a world where WWE is doing these things if AEW wasn't also doing it and doing well.
If AEW didn't exist, there'd be 0 partnerships.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. I mean, like, you can look at the historic facts or whatever, but like WWE wouldn't care about having Japanese and having all this if it wasn't for that.
I mean, if you just look at the first time we heard about them wanting to let a wrestler go to New Japan, it's because AEW was doing it, and Brian was like, "Hey, what are they doing over there?" And they were like, "Don't worry about that. We can let you wrestle for New Japan. Just stay here.
Can send you, dude. Don't go over there. We can do the same thing that they could do."
Yeah.
That's crazy. Damn. What a wild time. But yeah, I think it's going to benefit everybody because even beyond that, it just feels like WWE is going to get development from other places. It's not going to be just their development. Now they can look at TNA. Now they can look in Japan. Now they can look over here, which in the end helps wrestling as a whole.
Yeah, I have to wonder if we get the Jordan match if Julia was not hurt. Because I wonder if Julia was supposed to be the battleground opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Julia's still going to show up over there, but maybe this pushed her timetable back, so they needed a challenger for this pay-per-view.
Oh, you're right. I didn't think about that. They're like, we need something special still if we don't have Julia call in the word to Jordan. Huh.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I guess when I was watching it. Like, yeah, something had to have changed with Julia, and it's probably the injury.
Yep. That's everything. Appreciate you guys. Super chats. Y'all are dope.
I'm sure we have some humper chats left. Let me. Okay, we got 2 from Tony P. Says, this can't be all in a dude they fired. It's something else. I will say if Becky does join AEW and do All In during the Casino Gauntlet for a title shot at All Out, and Britt Coster setting up Becky versus Britt. Other than that, curious how free agency will play out. Also, last thing, am I the only one that went to Thursday's YouTube and have Sesame Street count 34 videos on repeat after the good news? LOL. That's the other big news this week is that Donnie is a convicted felon. He has been found guilty of 34 counts.
Guilty
of falsifying documents, right? That's because it was a hush money trial.
Mm-hmm.
But
34 counts of something, Phil. He got convicted for all those.
Yeah, that was a funny day on Twitter of me going, "Hey man, if anybody else was found guilty of 34 counts of anything, this conversation would be different. You wouldn't have a certain burned wrestler coming on saying, 'Oh, well, I'm still gonna vote for him with no shame.' You should have shame, sir. You should have a lot of shame.
So have so much shame."
But yeah, I saw people trying to move the goalposts again, and I'm just like, boy, it doesn't matter what they put on this guy's jacket. You still will support this guy. Facts do not matter to his voters, man.
No, it's gone. Care. Yeah, they built a campaign off of lock her up, and then this fool actually did that, and they're like, "Don't lock him up. Why would you do that?" And it's like, all right, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean he did the same thing that he was complaining about, and it's different though? All right, I see.
Of course, it's always different when it's him. Yeah, I very badly just want Donald to go away and not have to talk about him at all. I just want him to disappear from public consciousness, but no such luck yet.
Like, he's still gonna run. Like, we saw him convict 34 counts. Like, and he's still gonna be in the ballot. I don't understand how that's happening, but
and people are still gonna vote for him. And gross
niggas that go to jail for having one blunt can't get a job at fucking Baskin Robbins, but he can
and can't vote
and can't vote. But he can.
If you're a convicted felon, you cannot vote.
Yeah,
but if you
can vote for him.
Yeah, but he can still run for president. That makes no sense. But here we are, America, everybody.
What? Sick, sad world.
We've got a few from Nelson Muntz. Let me just line them up. No, we got more than a few from Nelson Muntz. He says, the gatekeeping of hip hop by Americans has become insufferable. You were bumping Drake when he was ripping off Mace and Lil Wayne. You're the ones that led mumble rap to become a thing. I think you was doing a lot of you're the ones that allow Ice Spice and Sexxy Red to blow up. I don't know. I wouldn't say you. I did not like
everybody you just named. I don't listen to none of that.
I'm not a mumble rap fan. He says, you can hate on Eminem all you want if this stuff is not for you, but at least it was good lyrically, and his fans loved it.
That's a stretch.
Drake and J. Cole, on the other hand, are competing on who has embarrassing hip hop more, and they're not even 40 yet. Some of them lyrics didn't really hit.
I was thinking about it yesterday. I think the stuff that Eminem does is more embarrassing than the stuff that Drake does.
Really? You think?
Like, if we're talking about embarrassing, like what Eminem does as supposed to be one of the greatest lyricists of all time and put out bullshit like that is worse than what Drake does. Like, you're fucking the culture up more than Drake is with that bullshit.
You think stuff look like the ref tracks and like even him jumping on the BBL Drizzy stuff? Do you think that's?
Yeah, because he was off rip already that person, I think.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean?
I think you're saying because he was already considered a GOAT by some people, and he's making this music that may or may not tarnish his legacy.
Exactly.
I don't know if I would say that, but I get what you mean. And I'm not this big Eminem hater. I just don't think that song is. I don't think it's like the worst song I've ever heard. I saw people like, this is horrible. He's the worst rapper ever now, and I'm like, let's calm down.
No, that's what makes me mad about it. Is he's not the worst rapper ever. He can rap. So why are you doing this?
Yeah. Nelson Muntz continues. He said, this Diddy is going down for being a monster. Drake is going down for being a fraud. Now I just need Jay-Z to go down for stealing so many of Biggie's bars and make America believe for 20 years he's a top tier lyricist like Jada, Nas, Rakim, Andre 3000, and Scarface. I'm pretty sure that most of the people you named consider him a top tier.
All of those guys are like, Hove is one of the greatest.
Yeah. Like I feel you, but no, Hove is one of the greatest of all time. And I get that he's also divisive like Drake is, because that's what happens with success. That's what happens when you become one of the most popular people at anything.
If you're number one, that's what's going to happen.
The scrutiny is going to be just as loud as the praise that comes with it. And I mean, there are a lot of things to criticize Jay-Z on, but no, he's
being
still
a rapper is not it.
He's still an elite lyricist. Yeah.
That's another thing that Nas, like the big lines, like I've stolen line. Everybody steals lines. That's hip hop. That's how you pay tribute.
Nas has rapped other people's lines.
Yeah, that's just what you do.
Yeah, so
hip hop.
I just think that the rules have changed. Like when I was growing up listening to hip hop, it used to be a bigger deal to have somebody else write your rhymes. You had to write your rhymes. Like that was sacred. It's just not the same,
it's
man.
Not like that anymore.
You used to have to have bars in the tuck if you went to a radio. Like you could not go to radio and not have a freestyle. Now you can go and do promo and not be able to rap. It don't matter no more. Those
people don't rap on their promo runs no more,
bro. A lot of promo don't have nothing to do with rapping ability no more. It's just not the same no more. Yep. And so I just don't think you can apply certain rules to certain people but not others.
Right.
And that's where I kind of land with the Drake ghostwriting stuff, is that if your line is, all right, we got to disqualify this guy because somebody else might have wrote this song, we got to disqualify a lot of people, man. Yeah. And I don't think y'all want to have that conversation about some people y'all got to disqualify.
Most people don't want to have those conversations. I think because most people aren't even aware.
No. And there's people that Drake wrote for that y'all do not want to disqualify. But again, y'all don't want to have that conversation. And that's why I'm like, it's too murky of a conversation. If fair was fair, I would be with people like, oh, well, he's got ghost written songs, get him out of here. But that just ain't the game no more, man. It's changed. No.
The criteria is way different.
No, standards have changed.
Like if you want to judge them, yeah, but then like you got to judge everybody else, and it's like, all right,
one of the most popular rappers of all time has admitted that he didn't write some of his songs.
Jadakiss said he wrote some bars for Big. So I'm like, what? If you want to do that, we can do that. But like Jadakiss wrote bars for Big. Like, what do you want? Like, I don't know. What do you want?
Yeah.
And like, if you're putting out a gazillion things at a time, you're the biggest rapper in the world. If I'm Drake, like I'm calling to get a verse. Like I can't keep putting these albums out. What the fuck are you guys talking about? And I'm a rapper. Like me doing something way different than Drake. Like, oh, you have to keep up appearances. You have to keep up albums. You have to blah, blah, blah. Send me some songs, nigga. I ain't got time for this.
Listen, man. People can say what they want. I know that this is the most perception has been against Drake, but it's a lot of people that still ate well based off of Drake being successful. The Drake stimulus package still was a thing.
A whole lot of people, a gazillion people.
Let's see more from Nelson Muntz. He says, "Shout out to XG. You have literally 4 female rappers from Japan who rap better in English in their second or third language.
XG is
90% of this era of American rappers. I've never heard XG, so I'll take your word for it. But I think a lot of
I'm not gonna take your word for it. There's not gonna be 4 Japanese rappers that rap better than the rappers you said. What are you talking about?
It's I'm not take your word for it.
No way.
I am
Send their number 1 song, and I guarantee it's not better than Jay-Z raps. Come on, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard XG's music, but I think it's a good time for female rappers. I think it sucks that people will put things like Sexxy Red or the Ice Spice stuff that they don't like and go, well, this is what y'all want. Because there are some women's rappers that are getting to it. Like Grapsody is dope. Like Meg is dope. Cardi is dope. Like I don't want to, like, there's a reason why.
Glorilla, there's a bunch of women that fucking kill it. And it's such wide, like, don't put it on us. That's like everything. Like some regions get things like, you know how deep it is over here.
Yeah. It continues. It's crazy, but we will likely have a future where one of the founders of Bad Boy and Def Bro will be behind bars, and the co-founder of Def Jam is hiding in Bali. Yeah.
It's not
hip hop, baby.
For our record labels. Ugh.
Yeah, and I mean, not to mention the other guy that was a big hand in Death Row that produced a lot of records and has a big hand in Interscope and Aftermath has some pretty nasty allegations tied to his name as well.
Some of them aren't even allegations. They're just real.
Yeah, I mean, you have to call them allegations at this point because it hasn't gone to court or anything. But
like the video, there's one of your label or group members on Yo MTV Rap saying, "Oh yeah, he did that." Is kind of crazy.
Yes, and there are
and he would do it again. I'm like, all right.
Yes.
But forgot about Dre.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, you're gonna get on the moral high ground.
And that guy, the one that we've been talking about all day, has songs about fucking domestic violence where that's supposed to be his hot shit. He has songs killing his ex-wife, and that. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Very uncomfortable records, but yeah, that's their goat. Last one from Nelson Muntz. Get these fucking American celebrities influencers away from my football where they pretend that they're fans of the sport. This goes both for I Show Speed and Jay-Z. Borussia Dortmund better embarrass Real Madrid now in the Champions League finals. Yeah, I know I Show Speed is like he's that's one of his big things, that he's like a soccer fan. So I don't know. I don't know how much he's actually into soccer. I don't know how genuine it is because I don't really follow him like that. I just know like the cliff notes on who he is.
That's the guy that got RKO'd?
Yes. Yeah, streamer guy. Mm-hmm. I think this is our last Humper chat from Victor. I just subscribed to CMLL on YouTube. Do you have any recommendations for who I should watch first? I will let you know how I enjoy the Prince Nana coffee I am waiting for. Still waiting for Saraya versus Mariah.
Yeah, there's some Templario, I think his name is. Neon. I don't know if it's Neon or Neon Jr. Neon does this dive where he jumps from one rope to the next rope and does a moonsault. That's fucking nuts. And then like the guys that have been getting shine on AEW, like Hechicero is like, when you see him in his actual element over there in CMLL, it's crazy. Yeah, these are the shows you got to just lock into because a lot of the luchadors are young and unknown, but they're fucking crazy.
Yeah. The Saraya and Mariah thing was Definitely something that happened.
Yeah, interesting one.
People were very upset because that match seemed to get cut from the show. I believe the Fightful Select report came out that it just wasn't supposed to be announced. It was
an accident.
It was an error that graphic went out because the match was always supposed to happen next week. I don't know how that happened, but yeah.
So who didn't communicate this part to Saraya is my thing.
Yeah, because Saraya was tweeting like the match got cut.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
like who didn't communicate this that it wasn't supposed to be on here to her? Because she didn't seem aware.
No, it seemed like she found out when we found out.
She was on some Cat Williams shit. Like, y'all gonna hear? I'm gonna let them know. I'm going on Club Shay Shay. I'm like, all right.
This is the year of truth.
I'm like, all right, I guess.
No, man, that sounds hilarious. Picturing Saraya on Club Shay Shay, and he's like pouring her to Cavassier, and she's just like, listen, had to go through a lot, went over to AEW. I told everyone that I had finally found a place where my boss would listen to me, and this is what I have to deal with. And Shannon's just like, oh no, Saraya. Oh no, Saraya. They cut your match. No, Saraya, they cut their match.
They cut your match. It's hella funny.
No, Saraya.
But Saraya, like, relax, lady. We weren't really clamoring for that.
I'm sure the match is going to be good.
Mariah May's going to be in there. She's incredible.
Yeah, I think what Saraya and Harley are doing right now is really funny, and I think this is kind of like her wheelhouse of doing the comedy and the heel stuff. This is the best. This is the best stuff she's done so far with AEW. I'm sure that some people will be like, the bar is low, but what do you want me to do?
What if it is?
I believe that is all of our Humper Chats.
Yeah.
We have any super chats left before we call it one?
No, that's all of them. That's thing. Okay, so the show's not next week; it's 2 weeks.
What is
the postponed show when we're gonna have to do our pod on a different time?
Oh yeah, for Clash of the Castle.
Clash, yeah, it's 2 weeks. Two pods.
We'll be more prepared that time.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, this has been Grapsody. Appreciate you guys. Excuse me. Appreciate you guys as always for your Humper Chats. Appreciate you guys for jumping in and supporting as always. Appreciate people that sent us tweets last week or sent me a message like, hey, where's the new episode?
Oh, wait, somebody sent a super chat before we left. Shout out to Speed Punk. This weekend is packed with MLW, Battle Riot, and GCW tournament survival today. Yeah, get those little plugs in before we go if you want to watch some wrestling tonight. I know the MLW show is free, actually. I don't know if it's free on their
$3.99
YouTube page, but it's free somewhere. The Battle Riot, that's always a really fun, surprising show. Definitely check that out. And GCW was having their tournament of survival, which is their big deathmatch show. Deathmatch tournament, and then tomorrow's capped off with a huge last time ever, they're saying, in GCW, Matt Warner and Effie, who have been entangled in an epic battle on who could kill the other former friends. So definitely check those out.
Yeah, a lot of good wrestling. We got Collision tonight as well. As usual, we have an embarrassing wealth of wrestling. This is why I say all the time, you do not have to spend your time complaining about the wrestling you don't watch, because you could just turn it off and watch something else. It's okay.
So easily.
Yeah.
There's so much more other stuff to watch.
But yeah, as always, this is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsay, Righteous Reg. We are out of here.